Welcome, race fans, once again here to LSRTV. We have another good race, hopefully a little less caution-filled than the last couple of weeks, but still great racing in between those cautions. But regardless of that, I am, of course, your host for tonight, fill-in, as Wesley Outland is not here, and well, in my place is Samuel Dunner. Sam, you're in my place, I'm in Wesley's place. We're just kind of swapping places everywhere here tonight.
Yeah, I think every single race there's been a swap in at some point, so it's been working out great this season. But I'm excited to watch these guys here at a little bit under a half a mile here at New Smyrna for 35 laps for each of our duels in the trucks, and then we got super late models later on tonight. But I'm excited for how tonight's gonna go. First time watching these guys here, but you touched on it. It's been a wreck fest filled type of a season. 35 laps. I don't know if there's enough laps for these drivers to attack both these duels.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to find out, how this one goes. It's a different track, and, that's one thing that can lead to more cautions. While in between those cautions, like I mentioned, is some really, really good hard racing, side-by-side, three wide, but you're putting guys on a new track every week, and I've explained this the last 2 weeks for all the new viewers out there that are watching. When you go to your local track, you have your local heroes that you're cheering for. They're local drivers there every week, racing the same track every week. Here, it's mostly the same drivers. There are new drivers coming in and out. You also have, of course, different tracks every week, different setups every week. That makes it a lot more difficult to kind of settle in and get your groove going on, as you don't have the chance to, stay at, New Smyrna for, say, 3-4 weeks in a row. That does make it a little more difficult to have less cautions. But I think tonight's the night. I think they're going to do it, Sam.
Yeah, and later on, when we go to the super late models, the drivers really feel a lot more comfortable because week after week, you see on iRacing, the short track races is where those cars go. But here for the truck series, this is kind of a different beast for these drivers to even handle. I mean, they usually on iRacing, you don't take the truck short track racing very often unless you go to the primary NASCAR short tracks like Bristol, Martinsville, Richmond, and Phoenix. This is something completely different, a little bit less than a half a mile, not a lot of banking through these corners, and drivers trying to figure out each other's braking zones. But for the truck series, it's been 4 different winners for all the different duels that we've ran so far this season. We'll see if anyone can become a multi-time winner so far this season, but it's interesting, and that just means everyone's got a shot here tonight.
Yeah, and of course, you talk about their shot to win. Winning's going up a little bit here, as we'll talk a little bit more about them throughout the night. But it is Karma Salon and Day Spa putting up $25 to the winner, or actually, it's technically not the winner. It's whoever places the highest in the running order that has their logo on there. It's a green, black, and white logo. We'll be looking for it tonight. So whoever finishes the highest in each race that has that car on, it could be 10th place for all we know, that has it on there, gets $25. And of course, it cannot be the same driver twice, so you will have 4 people walking away with $25. That's what, $100 being given away here just for running someone's logo and being the first car to finish the race.
It gives you incentive to show up, and for the field being kind of smaller than what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks, is that the field's a little bit smaller, giving you a better opportunity if you were one of those drivers that knew to put the logo on to try to earn yourself some cash here tonight. 30 seconds left in practice. Charles, I'm excited for how qualifying's going to go, as it's been pretty close here on time-wise. Top of the board during practice, though, that's Parker Retzlaff so far in the 42.
Yeah, and I look to see Parker Retzlaff, Ryan Matthews, Dustin Momberket, David Polins, those 4 drivers that are up at the top. Robbie Keneally in there as well. Those are drivers that you expect to see at the top of any board when they are putting down times on a racetrack, whether it be trucks, super late models, midgets, bandoleros, balloon racing. It doesn't matter what it is, they're going to be at the top of it.
Yeah, I mean, for Retzlaff, he's been dominating the late models that we're going to be seeing later tonight. So, no surprise he's on the top of the board, but he hasn't won in the truck so far yet. We've only got 2 drivers that have won so far this season in the field, setting him up for qualifying. That's going to be Kevin White Jr., who's going to be trying his best. He won back at South Boston for race number 2 there, and then the last race at Langley, that's when we had Dustin Bummerket getting his win. So both those drivers have a chance to become a multi-time winner this season in the truck races. Who can get it done here as drivers getting ready for qualifying?
Yeah, qualifying underway as Charlie Bell's going to be piloting the number 55/5M on track as running, I believe that's a 5M. I believe it's an M. It's a very small letter. It might be a B. I think it actually is a 5B. There, but regardless of what number he is, we'll see where he places, because the number he wants is number 1, and that's here in qualifying. He has it at the moment, but he's also the only car out on track, Sam.
Yeah, first car get on track, gonna be feeling good. Top of the board, certainly it's gonna be feeling good, but it is taken away almost immediately. So for Beal, he's gonna hope that he can hopefully find that race pace. As some drivers, they've got that fast qualifying run, that first lap is so fast, but sometimes it doesn't always translate to the racing time. But looks like Parker Retzlaff going to be just putting it to the side. He didn't even put down his first lap, so he's going to take another shot at this thing, try to get those tires warmed up properly. As David Polins in a 33 on a course, trying to get himself top of the board, and he's going to be third after his put down.
Yeah, he definitely is. We'll jump back over to Parker Retzlaff, who, like you mentioned, we caught him at the tail end, did not complete his first lap, wasn't happy with it, maybe scraped the wall, something happened, he put it just to a stop, and now he's going to run a 24. Obviously, that needs to pick up, and he's actually being scored as both his laps completed. So he, for whatever reason, did not get a lap he wanted. We'll see if this actually is his second lap. It does show 2, and he is not being scored. Yes, there it is, 18,708, and that will put him at the top of the charts, as that was his second lap being scored. Robbie Keneally coming out onto the track in the number 1 Reaper Speed Labs machine, and we'll see where he goes. But again, a lot, and I mean a lot of fast drivers in this series.
Yeah, Keneally was 6th fastest during practice, but we've seen some of the drivers that were faster than Keneally having some off pace than what we were expecting, and we'll see what the one can put down. But for that of Retzlaff, his first lap looked like he brushed the wall. That's what cost him that time. So luckily that second lap really counted for himself, as the one machine Keneally crossed the line. Looks like that's going to be good enough for 4th place currently so far, and still going to be attacking, but slowing down, and that will be his one and only time.
Yeah, he is done with 1:45 left on the clock, and right now we still have Ryan Matthews that completed 1 lap. He has packed it down and not looking like he's going to come back out. Cody Knott, our very own Pulse Popper sponsor, not coming out on track right now. Ryan Polins not coming out. Still Langford has not come out, and Tony Quattros has not. It looks like Langford may, and of course Ryan Campbell in that 8 is actually race control. And yes, still Langford is going to make an appearance onto the racing surface, and another number 33 machine.
More it's gonna be the 233 for that of Langford. Langford back at of Langley last time these drivers were racing in the super late models, got himself a very dramatic finish, winning and beating out the streak that Retzlaff was having in those late models. We'll see if possibly Langford can try to steal away a win here and become the 5th different winner so far this season in the Truck Series.
Yeah, he is definitely looking to see what he can do. Of course, they're all trying to beat these, heavy hitters in here, like Retzlaff. Harberts has been on a good streak. Mombercat, Keneally, Polins, all of those guys that are notorious for being up at the top, they've got a target on their back. as the guys, you know, I will say they're struggling. They just are, you know, 5th, 6th back to about 15th or so. They're looking to take down these big shots and prove why they are here in the series.
Well, qualifying just like that comes to a close, and you know, looking at like honor information for us, you could see where the I rating is for these drivers coming into this race. Retzlaff blows my mind. He is at 9,000 I rating. That means he is on iRacing. He knows these cars. He knows these tracks. He races in real life. Not surprised to see the 42 top of the board as we look at our starting grid.
Your starting grid here for tonight, of course, presented by Team 126 Racing. And we only got 10 rows, so we'll quickly run through it here as it will be inverted for the second one, so we won't have the grid for that one. But the first one going to be Parker Retzlaff in the 42 and the 80 of Jacob Harberts. Row 2 is going to be Dustin Ommerket in the 16 and the 1 of Robbie Keneally. Row 3 is going to be the 33 of David Polens and the 38 of Kevin White Jr. Row 4 going to be the 62 of John Olet and the 72 of Aiden Murray. Row number 5 going to be the 41 of Mario Urkulandi and the 30 of Reed Christensen. Row number 6 going to be the 97 of Eric Sellers and the 93 of Carson Nagy. Row number 7 is going to be still Lankford in that 233 and the 55 of Charlie Bells. Row 7 gonna be Josh Holmes in the 9 and the 51 of Ryan Matthews. And they're in row 9 gonna be the 12 of Tony Quadros and the 3 of Ryan Polens. We'll see how they stack up here tonight. And of course, rear of the field gonna be 10th row, number 26, Cody Knott, and Ryan Campbell will be a scratch. He will not be starting this race as he is race control, Sam.
19 drivers here, as both duels for the trucks are going to be 35 laps each. What we've seen in our first 2 races, first 2 weeks of these drivers, it has been a lot of hard contact for them. A lot of cautions have been flying out. We'll see if any respect has been brought out, or if they're still going to be using the chrome horns, trying to get by everyone as quick as possible. But Charles, you've been watching these guys all season long. What are you expecting to see here tonight?
I'm hoping we don't see, you know, the cautions we've seen in the past. But, you know, these guys are some fierce competitors. Seeing those cautions does show us that they have a little passion behind them. And they want to get to the front. You know, if you see no cautions at all, you either had some really good racing either way, or you just don't see any passion. People don't try to pass each other. They're just there Sunday driving. So if we see the cautions, I won't complain too much. But I would like to see some good green flag racing, as the green flag is out for the first time here tonight. And we are racing on race 1 of 4, and this is twin race number 1. 35 laps is all we have, and they're already starting to really mix it up about midfield, Sam.
In a blink of an eye, this race can be over. Everyone's single filing out for our first 4 drivers. Then they're side by side, battling to make sure they can get that 6th place position. David Polens, Kevin White Jr. are going to be side by side. White Jr. going to have the preferred lane, but on the outside is going to be that making the bolder move. Kevin White gets it done on the outside for the 38.
Yeah, these guys are absolutely showing why they are some of the best, and you got the the 55 of Charlie Busick there in that 5 machine with the 51M right with them, and those two duking it out still side by side. The front half of this field, they're Sunday driving it right now. They are single file for the first probably, 8 drivers. And then you go back to 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. And these guys, trying to make it 3 wide as much as they can. But this is not working out that way for them. But, man, much better racing tonight than we've seen in the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely, but the driver that seems to be having struggles is wrecking up front. Got to be careful. It's the 38, and they all stack up and back up into the field. Got to be careful. Kevin White gets into trouble, and our first caution waves 5 laps into our first race.
And caution is out. We pretty much watched it live there. We saw what happened. Just car got loose, and really, other than the car getting loose and coming back on the track, maybe not the best, move there, but They did come back onto the track trying to, get back into the racing surface, and that was what brought out the caution. So unfortunate, but it does happen. So we have a moment, Sam. We don't get these very often. I say we step aside and thank one of the great sponsors here at Tom Denshaw Auto Group.
That sounds amazing.
Every customer, every single time, needs to get our very best. From moment one, my goal managing a team here in the dealership is to make sure that that customer's experience is the very best that they've ever had. We expect and demand total transparency. There should never be a time in that transaction where the customer is wondering or not quite sure of what they're buying or what they're paying or those sorts of things. And having that transparency and doing things the right way is super important.
All right, we are back, and again, if you're in the car market for a new used car, check out Tom Denshaw Auto Group. I can promise you, they say they have a selection. I trust them. You can see in the video they've got cars on their lot, so definitely, even if you're in Texas, you can order online. I highly recommend it because, well, quite frankly, I've driven around town here in the state of Texas and there is nothing on the lots here. So, yes, definitely buy cars. Not the fact that, my stepdad is a car hauler and that helps his job too, but still buy some cars, people. You need one. You got to get to work. You can't rely on stimulus checks forever, right?
Nope, and we don't even know if we're going to get another one as drivers stacked up, ready to go. Parker Retzlaff and Jacob Herbert's getting themselves lined up, and we are green. And just like that, the 42 up front gets himself going, our front two in line. But side by side, it's Marquette and also others as someone gets into the wall further back. And I believe that was that of Nagy getting into the wall, having troubles and dropping all the way back to the back of the field when he was running in 10th.
Yeah, he is way back there, and he's going to bring that number 93 machine down pit road, so he is going to have a pit stop there. And you can see right there, somebody gave him the Krone horns, and that was some really big horns on top of that. That is some severe damage, but these guys are still getting after it. About midfield. Ooh, a little wall tap there from the 5. Just a tiny little bit, but nothing major done. And Parker Retzlaff out front. But again, this is where we're watching. This is where the first battles really start picking up. Mario Okerlany back there, John Nolette. Those are the guys that are battling.
Oh, there goes the 3. It's going to be David Polin's able to get by as Ryan Polins gets out of sorts. But drivers on the radio getting frustrated. Beals, he just wants to get by the 9, but just cannot do so after hard contact. And also behind them, they've got that of Kevin White Jr. And spinning is getting sideways. It's going to be David Polins. Just everyone in the back half of the field struggling to get onto the brakes. They're locking them up. They got to adjust those brake biases so they aren't locking up into the entries of these corners.
Yeah, this is a tough one to do. These guys are trying everything they can. They're putting on a good show for you. Very, very low caution so far compared to the last couple of weeks. We would have been on caution 3 or 4 already. We've only had that one caution. And look at this. You can see Reaper Speed Labs Speedway back here basically. That's all you see on these cars is Reaper Speed Labs. And, that's with a good reason. They are, of course, one of the sponsors here. Reaper Speed Labs, Elite Media Graphics, and, of course, Pulse Poppers. So big shout out to all of those guys coming on board here to sponsor this. And, again, just look at this battle. This is midfield, Sam. Oh, was the 51 getting loose?
Oh, hard into the wall and also collecting the 9. Ryan Matthews just getting a little bit too aggressive and getting himself spun around.
And, again, only the second caution, and this one all on his own of Ryan Matthews in the 51M. Like you said, just got a little aggressive, got the car a little sideways, and just could not save it after that. As makes you wonder, how this track is handling. As we can see on the back end here, the track temp 129 degrees, and that's sawblade.com weather, and that could have played a very good factor in that right there.
Yeah, a little bit. Also looks like there might have been a slight contact from the 12 getting into the 51, but it's just everyone's so close. Trying to enter these corners is it's preferred. Get down to that yellow line. Sometimes drivers just aren't able to keep themselves clear off of one another.
Yeah, and it looks like you were correct on that one. The 12 of Tony Quattros is getting the go to the back of the line penalty, or EOL as it is referred to. So he is at the rear of the field now. So the 12, Tony Quattros, is the culprit of that one. Gave a shot to the truck in front of him, and well, he went around and caused a caution, and the race admins made the call. You're going to the back, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things of, hey, we're trying to keep ourselves clean and green. I mean, we're already past the halfway marker, and drivers have done a great job staying as clean as we have. Only 2 cautions so far, which already a major plus from what we've been seeing from our first 2 weeks of these guys.
Yeah, definitely an improvement. Of course, we have to ask ourselves, going into twin race number 2, will it be as clean as race number 1? And the reason I asked that, and 2, we have to factor in, it was week 1, there was a lot of cautions. They weren't familiar with each other. Week 2, you know, by the time it comes around, you're familiar with them. You're just irritated them because they wrecked you the first week. In week 3, we were technically off. There wasn't a race, excuse me, because of the 4th of July. So they had a week to calm down. We come back here on week 4, but technically the 3rd race of the series. And, you know, they've had a chance to cool down, and we're seeing some good, clean racing. That being said, like I just mentioned, we'll race 2, twin race 2 of this one, and going forward, be less clean because they remember, hey, that dude wrecked me last 2 weeks ago, and he just did it again. Now I'm going to race more aggressive.
Yeah, and you're also going to be having, you know, the invert coming in for the second race of our 2 duels for the truck race. So you know that the drivers are going to have to figure out, if you're up front, how to march their way through traffic, and a little bit further back, you might be figuring out, hey, clean air, it's nice to have as our front 2, giving each other a little bit of a rub, staying close to one another, setting up for this restart to get green once again. And we're running out of laps if you want to make yourself going forward.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we just had the front 2 actually door slam each other before we even took the green, as we are back under green here now with 14 laps ago, as it just updated on us. But Momberket holding on to second place, but how much longer can he hold on to it for?
I mean, I feel like for them up front, they're going to be holding it on. But here we see 3 wide action as Lakeford gets pushed into the wall, getting more contact being made. And it's just him and Murphy continuing to beat and bang. And the rest of the back half of the field, they are going to be innocent victims. And somehow we stay green with everyone just scattering through the field.
Yeah, it's Wesley's favorite flag, the Banana Republic. I don't know how in the world we did not visit it there, as they, what does it he say? Wesley says they're like covered and smothered in gravy and banana peels or something. I don't know what he says, but he says something similar to that. But they were definitely all over the place, scattered like stepping on an antbed there. Everybody ducking and running every direction they could. But what a save for about, what do you think, 10 cars involved in that?
Yeah, at least 10 to 8 drivers all involved with it, but the driver that got the worst of it was Reed Christensen, who blew his engine trying to save his car, but hard contact into the wall. And now our leaders, they're doing a great job up front, pulling away. But with all the chaos of everyone having to slow down, I wouldn't have been surprised if somehow we started to see some lap traffic on the board for our leaders to somehow pass by. But everyone's keeping themselves pretty respectful for now. So you drop back to the battle for 10th place. Murphy and Quattro still hard contact and willing to block one another, as well as up front drivers on top of one another.
Yeah, they are definitely blocking here with 9 laps to go. And while we have 9 to go, and they've kind of spread out now due to that little big incident that went on there. And yes, I can use Little Big because there's a country band called Little Big Country or something like that. So you can use those words together. But while these guys, get spread out, and I don't think we're going to see too much more as far as going on, I do want to mention that after tonight, well, actually later tonight, starting later tonight for the 10:30 5 broadcast for the Northwest Cup Series, and going on, we are stuck in Nashville, Sam. And when I say Sam, and the caution comes out, it will be me and you.
Yeah, well, it is Nashville for a while that we're going to be there. As here's your Pulse Poppers instant replay. Ryan Pollins, innocent victim possibly here, as we see the replay of what happened to the 3 machine, and we thought maybe he was going to stay green. Drivers pretty spread out, but I think it might have been his own self-spin coming into this corner and coming into the corner hard off the. I mean, it's just short track racing for these guys. Got to be careful. Just locks up the brakes and immediately into the outside wall.
Yeah, I'm going to take a quick listen here. Listen to the engine if we can hear it. That engine expired.
Yeah, I think he might have been trying to short shift going down in the center of the corners, but shifted too soon. That's why the rear end just kicked back. It just completely locked up how the transmission was working. The tires got locked up, and away he goes, blowing up that engine, and had to take the toe to pit road. 3, Ryan Pollins. His first of our 2 races for our twin races for these truck series comes to an exit here late in this race, and this is putting us closer and closer. I don't know. What are the overtime rules, or is there even an overtime rule for these guys?
I believe if we reach overtime, we will have 3 attempts at a green, white, checkered.
Well, we went from dispersing everyone with that little big incident that we had that didn't bring out a caution. It was a self-spin after a malfunction downshift from Ryan Pollins, and now everyone's stacked up. This possibly, if we have an immediate caution before we get the white flag, overtime will be utilized here, and we'll see exactly if it's 3 more or maybe less attempts here at overtime, which I think we haven't had enough cautions yet, Charles. I think we're about to get a couple of more before this race is over.
Yeah, I think we may see at least 1, maybe 2 more. I'm with you on that one, as cautions do seem to breed cautions. And, we're hopeful that we don't see it. And this will be a green, white, checkered, but I believe it will still be a scheduled green, white, checkered. We should not be officially into overtime yet, as we had about 7 laps to go, and usually with about 5 to go is when the cutoff is. But we are keeping an eye on that to see, as they are getting double fouled up. There it is, 2 laps to go. And nope, it's officially, we're going to complete 37 laps when it's done, so we are in to our first overtime green, white, checkered.
Our first of possibly 3 attempts if needed. My eyes are going to be locked in the middle of this pack, watching out for that of Steele and Steele Lankford, and also of Murphy, to see if they're going to make any contact. They're the ones that made collisions and made that little big wreck, but our front 2, they're rubbing off one another. They're ready to get going.
Yeah, they are ready to, as it says, drop the hammer, and they do that in style. 2 laps to go, green, white, checkered here for the AIRL, and this is reasonable one, and man, they are just stacking them up.
Keeley was able to hold on, but gets out of shape, goes from 3rd all the way back to 12th. Up front, though, it's going to be Retzlaff, Herberts, as well as Bombercat. Our front 3 continue to pull away, and it was looking good. White flag in the air. We're concluding this race now as it's CRN 1 to go.
Yes, CRN 1 to go in the air. White flag. Nobody has got anything for Parker Retzlaff right now, as he's going to win the twin race number 1 presented by Karma Salon and Space Bar, as he'll do it right there. He has won race number 1 here of 2, as we have a little bit of an intermission coming up, but man, what a finish here for Parker Retzlaff, and really the top 4, 5 going on. Really no surprise there. It's kind of what we figured was going to happen.
Absolutely not, but Aiden Murray, I don't know how he survived those last couple of laps there. He raced that thing with a blown engine, was able to hold on to the end as drivers setting up for the warm-up. We touched on it. Drivers are going to take a little bit of the anger from the first race, my transition to the other race.
Yeah, and again, a little bit of an intermission here, so we'll take this time to step away here. Actually, never mind. We got some drivers in here. We'll quickly pull this up here so we can show you those results. And there you see Parker Retzlaff, Jacob Harberts, and Dustin Momberket are your top three. We'll leave that up there, and we do have a couple of these drivers with us here at the moment as they're getting ready for number 2. But we'll start with Jacob here in that number 80 machine. We'll do quick interviews with you here because we know you're getting ready for race number 2. But Jacob, track's 129 degrees. How's the setup handling on this car tonight? How's that hot track affecting it? And are you looking forward to having to come from about midfield now to get to the front?
I mean, the truck's really, really tight for me right now. And unfortunately, everyone's on the same setup, but I don't really do good with tight cars. But we're making it work best we can. I think the next race will be in my favor because I'm usually pretty good at getting through the field. But we'll just have to get lucky and see how it goes.
I mean, Jacob, you had to start on the high side a couple of times there. Does it seem like the goal is get low and hold that position?
I mean, both lines initially are pretty equal, but that only lasts about a corner, maybe 2. So, you have a little bit of time to play with. It's not like you got to get down immediately, but the quicker you can get down overall, the better.
Definitely. We look forward to seeing how you do in race number 2, and we'll get back to you in just a second as a question. If Parker Retzlaff gives us the wrong answer, Parker, first question out of the gate, do you have the Karma Salon and Day Spa logo sticker on your car here tonight?
No, I don't.
All right, Jacob, do you?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, well, there we go. The highest finisher, Jacob's going to be taking away $25 here tonight, thanks to Karma Salon and Day Spa. So congratulations on $25 as well. And now back to Parker. Unfortunately, you didn't get that $25, but hey, go slap it on there real quick. Maybe you can get some. But again, a tough track here at New Smyrna, as always. A hot track, a setup, is it to your liking or not?
No, the sets are really tight for me, like Jacob said, and it's just not something that I'm really a fan of. But I was able to just get the lead. I knew if I got the pole that it was going to be really helpful to lead the whole race, and that's what I did. And me and Mombercat had a little bit of netcode contact on the into one on that last restart of the race, and I know that he felt like I did it on purpose to make sure that we didn't have to race for it, but it was netcode, so sorry to him again, and we'll just move on to the next race. And I start 8th, so we're going to have to see how this goes.
Definitely, we know that's not your style of racing. We know if you're going to wreck them, you're going to wreck them better than that. But we're just kidding. We know you're a clean racer. Netcode happens. Stuff happens out on the track. That's why it's racing and not football or baseball. But Sam, any questions for Parker before we let him go?
No, just congratulations, Parker, on your win here tonight, and good luck for the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
All right, well, we'll get those two in their channel so they can get ready for some racing here in just a little bit. But Sam, we got about 50 seconds or so before twin race number 2 comes up. So if any of the drivers out there, have the ability to get that logo on their car for the sponsor, Karma Salon and Day Spa, I'd be getting it on there. We've learned already that once you get up front, it's kind of hard to pass. So for these guys that are getting the invert that were around 8th place, now going to be 1st, you got it on there. You could be looking at a sizable little payday. And $25, not a lot of money, but hey, at the same time, it is, because it buys a lot of stuff for RC cars.
Hey, it can buy you RC cars. If you've got enough content, it can allow you to buy, a couple of tracks, maybe a new car if you don't have all the content yet on iRacing. $25 certainly can help you. But do want to give a note, Parker Retzlaff, he is our 5th winner so far this season. Still no multi-time winners. And with race 2 right around the corner, it's going to be really interesting on if any of those drivers that have already won this season can double down. But for Parker Retzlaff, he looked good, but it's interesting that the drivers have said that it feels tight entering these corners. I think that makes a lot more sense on why drivers are having issues coming into the corners, trying to slow down so they can really attack these corners.
Yeah, they get to the car not handling the way they like. It's definitely affects it. Says, imagine trying to slow down a car that doesn't want to turn. It's not a fun task, but they are going to try their best. And for this grid, we don't have our live grid ready just yet. We're having to work out some bugs in it, but it's the same exact grid as we had for the first race, except the top 8 drivers are inverted. As you see, Parker Retzlaff going to be starting 8th. Jacob Harbert's going to be starting in 7th. Dustin Mombercat in 6th. John Allett in 5th. Mario Ercolani in 4th. Stevie. Starting like a Stevie Wonder or something. Steele Langford in 3rd, Kevin White Jr. in 2nd, and Tony Quadro is going to be starting this race from pole position. Everybody else behind them starting in the same position that they were in race number 1.
Yeah, I think this is a great feeling for some of these drivers. Drivers to keep our eyes out on, as it looks like Quattro is going to be given an EOL, so he'll be starting at the end of the line instead of being up front. So this is an interesting call from the admins, but decided to put the 12 all the way in the back instead of being up front starting this thing. So everyone that was on the low line, they get to move up another position.
Yeah, very interesting. I did not see that one coming, but he has opted, or race control has decided that he doesn't need to be starting at the front. So he will go to the rear. That's going to put the 33 or 233 though, Still Langford on a pole for this race, as we are just about ready to go 35 more laps. Pace truck dives off and we are racing one more time. Green flag is out here for the American iRacing League. Round 3 presented by Karma Salon and Day Spa.
These drivers are going to need a day spa after tonight's races. They are still side by side, and White once again contact early, and he is our first car spinning around, just like the first race here tonight. Oh, Kevin White, his luck did not go well for either race so far.
And we're getting reasoning for Tony Quattro's being pushed to the rear, and the reasoning admin said he dumped Polins at the end of race 1. Coming to the line, he received an EOL, putting him dead last. So for race number 1, so not only did he receive an EOL, he got put in last place for race number 1 and got the EOL for race number 2. So that is why he dumped Polins coming to the line.
Well, sometimes you got to make friends, but if you're going to be aggressive there, you got to know consequences are looming. And for Quattros, he was able to move up a couple of positions, went from 19th up to 14th in that little bit of a spill. But Kevin White, he's going to go all the way back to 18th place, trying to get himself back going. But interesting enough, he did not come into pit road to get repairs done. It's actually the 41 that's getting repairs done for himself.
Yeah, Mario Ercolani sitting on pit road in 19th place in the number 41, so we'll see if he can get back out on track here in just a little bit. But I want to point out, we went live at about 7 o'clock Central Time. We're 35 minutes into this, and we're already on race number 2. That is a vast improvement from last weeks and the week before. So, big kudos and a round of applause for these drivers. Yes, they're getting a little aggressive out here, but they're still putting on a much cleaner show. I won't say better, because it was some really, really good racing the last 2 weeks, but a cleaner, better race this week around. Still the same good racing, just less cautions.
Yeah, less cautions means that the races can end very quick, as drivers, when they're putting down quality laps, they can finish this course in 18.5 seconds. A little bit slower than that, but still, you could finish a couple of laps in just a minute, and these drivers are going to be having to make sure they are on top of it, as Lakeford and also Colt, who's going to be up front, getting us back green. And you're seeing that second row, they want to get going.
Yeah, they are 2 and 3 wide back here and they're definitely 3 wide. We're going to sort that one out as the battle for second is on between Olette and the Harvards. Those two side by side, and then you go back, you have Retzlaff and Momberket side by side as well. So 2 rows, 2 deep. You go a little bit behind them, you're still seeing that as you've got another couple of drivers that are battling for that position. And man, these guys, they are just duking it out right now for the top 5.
Oh no! Absolutely dumped. Goes back as I believe that was Beals that got spun. And man, he was hoping not to get spun like that. Was running up in the 9th position as here's your Pulse Poppers instant replay. But these drivers just getting a little bit too aggressive in the middle of the field, understanding, hey, 35 laps, that can go way quick. I got to make my moves now.
Yeah, we'll go back and watch the Pulse Poppers replay and see exactly what happened. Again, keep an eye on the, we know it's the 55, it's at 5, the red and black one. This is Bills on the side of it, and right there, a little bit of contact possibly made. At angle is hard to tell, but definitely, went around. Whether he had the help, again, the angle's a little tough to see with our camera, but definitely ramping up the cautions here a bit more in race number 2.
Yeah, absolutely is ramping up. And after some of the mistakes that he's had here tonight, Kevin White has made an early exit for the truck duels, and we'll see if he will show up for the super late models after this race, or who else will try to join him. It also looks like Ryan Pollins, he is also might be having some internet issues for the 3. He is disconnected, and I haven't been told officially what's happened to the 3 machine, but he is off of my ticker, at least, on being on the race surface.
Yeah, he is indeed off of ours as well. And we'll check in. We'll see right here. And check in, and he's showing in the pits right now. So he is showing that he hasn't officially left the race session, but he is off. He is not in the car. He could be the concession stand or something like that, but he is definitely not in the car right now.
Ooh, getting some food, maybe some snacks, preparing for the next race. Got a little bit of time to get snacks for that one, but here right now, it's the second race for the trucks. Before we get to that of super late models, for a longer race, potential of more wrecks and chaos for these drivers. But up front, it's Steele Lakeford, Jacob Herberts, who's also going to be having that of Parker Retzlaff, who won the first race, cutting his way through traffic. I gotta say, for Retzlaff, he looks like the favorite to win here tonight.
Yeah, he is definitely the favorite tonight, and really he's one of the favorites just about any time he's behind the wheel. So we'll keep an eye on him, see how he does stack against this competition. It's going to be 23 laps to go when they take the green. So laps are winding down because caution laps do count here in this series. So every time we go under caution, that's just eating away at the laps if you're trying to get to the leader, and it's already hard to pass. So these drivers don't want to see that, especially if you're 5th, 6th back. You want all the racing time you can get.
Oh, Retzlaff was thinking about 3 wide, but thought better of it. It's going to stay right behind that of Lakeford, trying to push that of the 80 a little bit higher, and still absolutely shoving Lakeford. And Lakeford's got to be careful. He's pushing up, and here comes the 42 to the inside and to the point.
That was a perfect move to get around him, but he hasn't completed the pass just yet. And I think right there is going to give him the little shot he needs. And yes, the one of Robbie Keneally kind of gave him a little bit of a boost there, even though he really didn't bump him. He didn't even really give him any drafts. He just kind of gave him something. It's invisible. I don't know what it is, but he helped him some way. I just know it.
Just giving a little bit of a tap, just a little bit, as drivers second on back, side by side, just waiting to make any type of moves. Or a lot of these guys, 80 still waiting, but Keneally, after a little bit of a mix-up he's now moved up to second place. But we're just dropping back, watching the action. Still 3 wide, hard contact for drivers up into the wall. It looks like, I believe that was Murray who got up into the wall. Got to be careful for them, but hard contact going to be made. The 12. Oh, Quattro gets up into the top 10. But with that incident, could be dropping him back even further because he could be finding himself with an EOL penalty.
Yeah, that very well could send him back to the back of this field one more time. As you know that movie Back to the Future? Well, he's going to be going back to the back, possibly after this one. As we'll see. Let's go to the drone camera here tonight for the first time. Oh, and right there he gave a shot, but that wasn't what caused it. That was actually just textbook chrome horn. He gave him a shot, and well, then right there he gave another shot. So our different driver was shot too. So well, you need two shots for COVID.
Then, yeah. The first driver, you just plowed up into the wall. That was Murray. And then the second driver that brought out the caution was going to be that John Olet, who just nowhere to go. And for Murray, I thought for sure that he was going to be the driver that was going to get aggressive, moving other drivers out of the way. But it turned out he was the one that got absolutely bullied for his second, bringing out another caution here tonight.
Yeah, he got bullied all right, and it looks like Tony Quattros, whether it's because of damage or if he just pulled it into the pits on his own, just because, but it looks like he is done here, possibly for the night. He's been in there for just over a minute. John Olet going in as well, but with 17 laps to go, you're already 2 laps down and growing. I would venture to say that Tony Quattros' night is done here.
Yeah, and I mean, up front, talking about Retzlaff, Keneally, these two are the ones to watch out for. But, sometimes you got drivers in the back that just cruise around and are surviving. Cody Knott, as well as Eric Sellers, is doing a great job back in 13th and 14th. They're loving all the times the drivers wreck out. It means they are gaining another position and a better way to finish out the night.
Yeah, just, ticking off those positions and ticking off laps. That's what it's really about for these guys. Is again, it's so hard to pass. So whoever's up front's doing good, but we've seen a little bit of passing. So I'm definitely interested to see if we may see a pass for the lead later on in this race. We still have going to be about 14 to go when they take the green.
14 to go. If another quick caution comes out, might put us back to 8 or less laps. So drivers got to be careful, especially for those that are further back in the field. If you're going to make a charge forward, you're going to have to hope that either a caution happens in front of you with multiple cars involved, or if this race can stay green and you can get yourself moving. But Parker Retzlaff, he's right back to where he was during our first dual race here tonight. Up front, going to be the driver taking the control. We'll see if Keneally can get a good launch, but it seems like that driver on the outside always falls back to at least third. Could be falling back even further than that, but it really matters on the 80 on how he gets going for himself. Green flag out in the air. Parker Retzlaff already gone and side by side for second place.
Side by side for second place, Keneally, Harberts, Lakeford, Mombercat, Polins, David Plins, Ryan Plins out of the race. These guys are not done yet as we're coming to 13 laps to go, and the battles are just getting more intense the further we go into this race. Makes me wonder what it's going to be like in the super late models. So these guys are going to carry that frustration and aggression over into the next set of races.
Herbert is able to get by that of Keneally, pushing him so high, but Keneally might battle back for himself. But it's this fourth place position. We're seeing Mombercat, Lakeford, Polins, as well as you can be throwing in Ryan Matthews, who haven't seen Matthews up front a bit, but with Polins having issues, here comes the 51 up to 6th, and soon to be up to 5th. If he can make the move, contact made, Lakeford goes back.
Yeah, that was a very interesting move that did not bring out a caution there, and maybe a little bit of deliberate contact there. We won't say for sure, but definitely, we can't say it's deliberate. It looked like he kind of turned into him a little bit, but with this car being the way it is and pushing and not handling properly, these guys are having their hands full with these trucks, and it makes it very difficult. So they have to be on their toes, and someone who's on their toes, that's Parker Retzlaff, as we come to take 9 laps to go.
9 laps to go. Driver that's in the top 10 who was not able to finish out our first race of the night. That's going to be Reed Christensen up to 8th place for that 30 machine. And He's surrounded by drivers that were extremely aggressive in the first race, but it certainly has found a spot where you can feel comfortable, continue to move along. That 30 machine, gotta love it when you got 2 races here tonight in the trucks and you rebound in the second race.
Yeah, you definitely always want to do better in the second race. You know, if you do bad and you don't rebound from it, you do worse, it really makes you question, whether, you should be here racing. It just gets to a driver big time. So, you really got to just be out there, battle, and dig, and hope that even if it's one spot better than you finished the last one, it's something.
Drivers got to be careful. The last time we are kind of in this lull period during our first race, and we saw Ryan Polin's downshift too soon entering the corner, and it actually blew his engine. These drivers, everyone's staying pretty single filed out, which is great to see, meaning that we could find this race being over very quickly as we're coming to 5 laps to go for Parker Retzlaff.
Yeah, Parker Retzlaff right there, and I was trying to see who all had the logo on their car for Karma Salon and Day Spa, and the first one is Jacob Harbert's, but you cannot win it twice in a row. So it means he is not eligible. Robbie Keneally, I don't see it on his truck either, so unless he's got it really, really small, I do not see it on there. We'll go back to Dustin Mombercat, and he does. So as of right now, 4th place of Dustin Mombercat looks to be the recipient of that $25.
Yeah, and you were talking about drivers, get that sponsor on your car. Well, if they're gonna get it on, they need to get it before they hop into the server for the super late models for these guys, because once you hop into the server, it is almost impossible to switch out your scheme. So the drivers got to be careful. As David Polins, I was watching 33, he gets himself out of sorts. These drivers starting to feel that tightness level rises. Talk about that. The battle for second, soon to be a 3-horse races. This race is coming to a close here quickly.
Yeah, we'll jump to that one as well. Battles starting to brew as the caution zone.
Could not get it, and it's Murray. It's shoved around, and it looks like he gets tight, but loose off the corner, overcorrects, as we'll see it on our Pulse Poppers instant replay. They'll spin for the 72 as we were so close to that white flag.
Yeah, we were right there with it, ready to take it, and then, well, the yellow flag took it away from us so quickly. But you'll see, like you said right here, just gets it loose, overcorrects, and pow, into the inside wall. And that will be done for the front end of the car, but it's still rolling, so hey, it's a good day.
Hey, in the first race, he survived even with the engine blown coming across the line. So the 7-2 has no quit in him. Might be starting all the way back in last place with the EOL, but might as well give it your best shot here in our first attempt out of 3 at a green-white checkered. And hey, why not do it 2 races in a row going overtime?
Yeah, it's I believe it's a trend. I don't think we've had but maybe 1 tops 2 races where we haven't gone into green-white checkered. So it's definitely the trend here to go in green-white checkered. So no surprise we do it again here in race number 2 as well as race number 1. Parker Retzlaff, though, you're going to have a green-white checkered. So he's just really got to get a good start and let these guys duke it out behind him, because that's what's going to end up happening.
Well, drivers in our top 4, the trend for this season so far for the Truck Series is having a new winner each and every race. But for Parker Retzlaff, he's trying to break that trend, trying to become the first multi-time winner and sweeping a race in the Truck Series. I mean, why not try something brand new here tonight? And for that of Retzlaff, he's a driver that possibly can do it. Another driver that has a chance to become a multi-time winner, that would be Dustin Mombercat, who's only back in 4th place, but the 16 hasn't been showing pace that looks quick enough to try to beat the 42. But if you're going to beat Retzlaff, you need to get a great launch here and possibly move him out of the way.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to give him a little bump in order to. You heard in the little interview there, the quick interview from race 1 to 2 between Parker Retzlaff. He had a little net code, got into Mombercat. So could Mombercat get up to him? If he does, is he going to play nice with him, or is he going to rough him up a little bit?
I mean, I would think here, just get a little rough. Just if Robbie Keneally, he's going to be the one that's going to get the best launch here. If he can stay close to the 42, might think about giving a little bit of a push to get himself a win here this season.
Well, that time will tell if that happens or not. But again, just a good night of racing so far. We still have 2 more races to go, 2 60-lap races to go, but regardless of that, green flag is out and it is 2 laps to go. Will we see the white flag next?
Parker Retzlaff probably got his poorest restart there, got wheel spin once he got going, but this is going to be one of the final shots to really make a push, getting him high. Here comes the 80 to the inside, coming to the CRN, 1 to go.
Oh, and they touch as they come to the line, and we'll see, we got to wait for it. There it is, officially 1 to go, presented by CRN. They'll come out of wearecrn.com, and they are drag racing to the line here.
Both lanes looking good. Coming out turn 4, though. Across the line is Parker Retzlaff by a nose, I believe.
Yes, by .017 is the gap between Parker Retzlaff and Jacob Harberts. Wow, what a finish. As we've got to take a look at a Pulse Poppers replay here and see if we can catch this one. Meanwhile, keep an eye on that and keep an eye on the places right behind them, as here is the restart. There, I'll show you, that was coming out of turn 2, I do believe. Either way, you're about to see what happens. So watch this. You see all this happening, he goes flying in the air, and there's your finish right there. So
they went to the moon.
We got trucks flying to the moon, and trucks just barely picking up the win here in Parker Retzlaff. But what a race for twin race number 2. Like I said, you had a few cautions, but in the end, it was a heck of a race here for these guys. Tonight says, again, you can't complain anytime, and I know we'll have Jacob and Parker here shortly. The next lobby is open, so we're going to step away, and when we come back, we'll talk to those top 3 drivers, or top 2 drivers. If we have Ryan Matthews, we'll talk to 3, and when we come back, again, we'll talk to those and get ready for some super late model racing action.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do actually any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we'll do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything, hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. Just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, and if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink colors. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn. and then, which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we have two of our top three drivers here to take a little chat with them before we move into racing action here for the super late models, race number 1 of 2. And of course, I don't even want to say finished second. It was that close together. It was by 0.017 seconds. That is Jacob again finishing second to Parker Retzlaff. But this time it was a lot closer. Are you ready to take him down here in the super late models?
Yeah, it was a good race, man. I normally don't try and race like that. I gave him a pretty hard bumper, but I'm just tired of finishing second. That's my 5th second place finish now out of 6 races. So we gave it all we could, without obviously just taking him out of the race. But I'm just glad we had a lot of fun and no one crashed between the two of us, and we just had a good race.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, it was an awesome. I mean, you gave him a decent shot, gave yourself an opportunity. But what else could you have possibly done there to try to get that win?
I mean, once I was under him, I could have forced him up the track more. I don't want to be but so dirty. I was already running up the track pretty high, but Parker just did a really good job of running high enough to make sure we didn't make contact, and he just got thrown off turn 4 and was able to just beat me to the line.
Again, we're going to let you go so you can get ready for this next set of races here. 60 laps this time, but a lot faster cars. Anyone you want to give a shout out to real quick before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the guys at LeDuc Matthews Racing for all the help that they helped me out a lot with the short track cars, super late models, all the stuff like that. And that's about it. Thank you guys.
All right, well, he won back-to-back races, and is Parker Retzlaff. Parker, you won back-to-back. That second one, though, not quite as easy, as, again, the gap was only 0.017 seconds separating you and Jacob. Did you think he might have had you going to the flag stand?
I mean, I knew that the top was going to go to run, but I thought he was going to use me up in the 3 more than he did, so... It was overall a really good race. I was just riding there at the end of the race to try and just save whatever I can and just get to the end of the race. And then just like last race, we had a caution with 2 to go that had to make it interesting. And respect to Jacob, he did what he had to do to try and win the race, and it was a really clean finish and close finish.
It definitely was.
Yeah, I mean, Parker, you started the first race off up front and showing that you had the speed, but that second race you had to cut your way through traffic. How was it getting through traffic compared to how the first race went for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the first race I was just all by myself the whole race. Like there wasn't really any cars in front of me ever. In the second race, I got really lucky. Like I feel like the first 2 weeks of the series I wasn't as lucky with my restarts and everything, but this race I got really lucky, and I was just in the right lanes at all times. And I think Steele overdrove a little bit and got into Jacob, and that's when I was able to just get to the lead, and then I just had to hold it off from there.
Yeah, held him off, and we'll see if you can hold him off again here in the super late models. A little bit bigger field here as well, so we'll see how that plays out. Again, overall, less cautions here in the first set of racing. We picked him up a little bit in race number 2. We'll see how it goes in race 1 and 2 here for the super late models. Anyone you need to thank real quick, Parker, before we let you go, and we take a quick little break here before the next race?
Yeah, I gotta thank Ponzi, EcoTrax, Grill Ads, Iron Horse Lockers, my parents, I know they're watching, you guys for broadcasting every week, everyone who supports me, Reaper Speed Lab. I just started streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Parker2, so if you want to come watch that. and just everyone, Tyler for putting this whole thing on. Everyone that supports me, thank you.
All right, well, there you have it. Your top two. We didn't get to talk to third place or fourth, I believe, is where we finally saw that $25 going away. We have about 10 minutes before we get into the next race. We're going to let these guys put some rubber on the track and, of course, give us the time to use the little gentleman's room, the broadcaster's room, and the announcer's room. You know, all those good things, get a drink, stuff like that, grab a snack if you need one. So we'll be right back here in just a moment on behalf of myself, Charles, and Sam. We'll see you in just about 9 minutes with some super late model racing here at New Smyrna. All right, ladies and gentlemen, race fans, wherever you're at watching, tuning in here tonight, it is getting closer and closer to time. We have but just about 30-40 seconds till racing will resume here. Qualifying technically going to resume here from New Smyrna. Out on track this time, though, is the super late models. Could super late models be super cautions? I don't know. Sam, what do you think?
Based off what I'm seeing on practice, there's a high chance that we might be seeing more cautions, but then the trucks, with the add-on of more laps, giving these drivers a better chance of running into one another, it looks like there's a chance of more cautions. Also, the field's a little bit bigger. We went from 19 drivers running in the trucks to a potential of 24 drivers running in the super late models, but just like what we saw from the trucks, Parker Retzlaff close to being the fastest driver here under practice, and with no surprise, he's been quick everywhere we go, sweeping the trucks. And we've already seen him sweep at South Boston here in the super late models. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again here tonight. Yeah,
he is definitely good. We'll see if he can sweep the late models. Again, these are twin 60s. However, you would think, okay, well, that took an hour. This is going to take 2 hours to run when it's double the laps. But it probably won't, because these cars are a heck of a lot faster on these little short tracks than those big monster heavy trucks are.
Yeah, it's almost a full second faster these super late models are compared to the trucks, and these super late models are built for short track racing. It's what these cars are almost always on, so the drivers have a lot more experience on how they're going to be attacking this course as practice has come to a close. It's qualifying time, 5 minutes. These drivers have 2 laps to put down their fastest lap time, and I'm interested on who can really crack the top of the board, as it looks like it's the 13 of Thomas Axum that's going to be one of the drivers to watch out for fastest during practice. We'll see if he can do that and translate that to qualifying.
Yeah, we'll be watching for that, and we'll show you top 20 on screen. Beyond that, we'll get to them on the grid. As coming out on track is going to be the 27 of Steve Norris. We'll see how Norris does here tonight in that number 27 machine. And I got confirmation from Race Control that in order to be eligible, obviously you couldn't have won it already, and it was Langford that got it in the second race of the truck, so he's not eligible in this one. And it has to be prominent and visible. It cannot be little bitty on the car. It actually has to be very visible and prominent on the hood, side panel, wherever it is. It has to be big enough to actually be seen.
Yeah, for these drivers, I mean, you touched on it, that drivers might want to try to get that logo on there. They had a little bit of time if you had a paint person that was watching the stream and was notified to do so, if these drivers were able to get that scheme on, but we'll see how they can do so. But it looks like that is Steve Norris going to be done. 8th place for himself, drops down to 10th as more drivers come into fray. 27 continues to drop on the board, but David Polin's, I mean, he's on top of the board currently. We'll see if that sticks for the 33, as we're still waiting for a lot of those heavy hitters to put down their fastest times.
Yeah, a lot of drivers still out there. Mario Urkulani out on track in the 41, and I don't see the logo on his car, so he is not eligible for that $25, although he is, repping Reaper Speed Labs quite well on that number 41 machine. We'll see how he stacks up against the competition right now. 15th fastest with a 18.500, so 5 flat is a point. Well, now he's going to up that a little to 18.349 as he'll jump a few spots. As Parker Retzlaff, well, if I can, pronunciate anything today, is out on track.
Yeah, Parker winning both of the truck races here tonight, and he has won a total of 3 of the 4 races in the super late model so far this season in our first 2 races. Here tonight, one of the favorites to win once again, but like I said, for the 13 of Thomas, he's also going to be another one of those drivers that could be top of the board. As Parker, he's going to be qualifying in 4th place currently, and with our top 8 going to be inverted for our second race. Gotta be wondering if that's really where you want to be qualifying at after how fast he was during practice.
Yeah, it's definitely questionable. So, we'll, there's one of those things we'll have to wait and see. But nice looking ride out there. And you can tell that logo is on the hood. You got to declare, is it prominent and visible? You can see what it is, but that's because we know what it is on the hood. So, you can definitely see where it says Karma on the hood. So we'll just have to, keep an eye and see if they declare that as prominent and visible, as Cody Knott going to take his number 26 machine out onto the track. And I like that purple and yellow car. We've seen it multiple weeks now, and it just looks sharp.
Yeah, I mean, there's some colors that just blend so well together, and yellow and purple, one of those colors. I always think of cotton candy, where you got the pink and baby blue, though that's a good match in my opinion, and some other drivers, but it's a very clean looking car, has not crossed the line. Gonna be pushing himself, gonna be staying still in 21st position, but going out there trying his best to best that time, as he's currently in 21st, going through 3 and 4.
Yeah, he is gonna see right there if he can complete it. And no, 18.605, showing a 505, but it didn't count as he's done. RS Center out on track, and that's gonna be a 18.187. That's gonna put him somewhere. There he is, top 10, 8th place for RS Center, as it looks like he is done. And Corey Williams is sitting at the end of pit road, but doesn't look like he's going to be coming out with 20 seconds left to go.
No, Corey's just been sitting there since qualifying started. He's not moved an inch. This 19 has been persistent and has decided, you know what, we'll stay at the back. I think waiting to see there. Also, another driver that's staying out there is the last driver to win in this series. That's going to be Steve Langford, who's going to be staying all the way back. Still, 2 drivers not putting down a time. Interesting call for both of those drivers.
Yeah, very interesting call. And this race looks like we're going to have 24 drivers, so 12 rows of drivers in this one. It's a time for one of our favorite times of the evening, and of course that is your team 126 starting grid on row 1 is going to be, and apparently we're playing the national anthem here for the starting grid. Again, random music playing here. Number 13 of Thomas Axum and the number 16 of Dustin Mommerket. In row 2 is going to be the 33 of David Polens and the 59 of Jake Perkins. Row 3, 51 is going to be Cole Quinton, and the 38 of Kevin White Jr. In row 4, going to be the 42 of Parker Retzlaff and RS Center in the 110 machine. Row 5, going to be the 12 of Joshua Butler and the 93 of Carson Nagy. And rounding out your top 12 here, Sam, is going to be the 25 of Tony Quattros and the 69 of Colton Everingham.
Oh, you got to make sure you take note of that music. Maybe we'll use it later on, as Eric Steele going to be starting off the next row in the 132. But as you see, it does not show off there. Also got Aiden Murray going to be in 14th position. Row 8, where we're going to be following Wally Wilson and Mario Emberliki, who is going to be really looking for an upgrade for that 41 team after kind of a disappointing trucks race that he had here tonight. You fall back to row number 9. That's where we're going to be finding that of Ryan Polens and also that of Tanner Berg, who's going to be trying. We haven't seen Berg here tonight. We'll see how well he can do here, as well as Ronald Cole. Steve Norris going to be back there in that of 20th position. Back to row number 11. That's going to be finding that of Eric Sellers, as well as Cody Knott. And the drivers that did not put down a qualifying sign, that's where we find that of Steele Lakeford and also of Corey Williams.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to take notes of that music, as anybody that does not know how all of that works, we have an hour and 53 minutes worth of random music that we just threw up there. So we're already making contact between the front two here. We ain't even racing. And, you know, it randomly appears. We let it loop the entire race. You just can't hear it. And, well, we turned it up to where you could hear it, and the national anthem was playing. So perfect timing.
Yeah, and sometimes drivers and leagues always question why. Where's the national anthem? Well, we found it. Got it halfway through tonight. But we found it. It's set up. Got through the grid, and now it's time for some green flag racing.
It is indeed. Green flag racing is underway. 60 laps on the books here for race number 1. And whoa, 13.
Already wrecking.
We are under caution.
We didn't even get to corner 1 and most of the field's wrecked out.
That is not what we wanted to see going in to race number 1. As we're, you know, this race is presented by Karma, Salon, and Day Spa. Some of these guys may have some karma coming back to them from another driver in the form of payback. So the rest of them that don't have karma coming back to them in the form of payback, well, then they may want the Day Spa because, like you said, they're going to need it.
Oh man, this is all going to start up with a little bit of clogging that goes on. Nagy's going to get contact into the 10, and from there on out, hey, it's a parking lot for some of these drivers.
Well, let's go back and take one more. I want to look at this. So take a look at this when we get going, and you know, we want to kind of dissect this in the only way I know how. Right now, we're just pacing. We're getting ready to take the green. Now, when this happens, for everyone that's out there watching, and Sam, you want your opinion on it too, of what we're about to see happen, does this not ring a bell from this past weekend?
No. There was no dirt race that can ring a bell or anything.
Yeah, there's no dirt race with trucks in it that just winds up the entire field like this.
Exactly same spot, different track, but you know.
So, just saying, you know, it kind of rings a bell there. So, you know, you might think, oh man, these guys, they're sim racers. They can't drive. That there was identical nearly to what happened with professional drivers. And was it Knoxville Air Racing? I don't even know. A track that they probably shouldn't have been at anyway. But they literally did the same thing and destroyed, what, like 15 to 18 trucks in one race. Or in one wreck. Yeah. So for anyone that thinks that these are sim racers and they can't drive and that's why that happened, go watch Knoxville. It's probably one of the most clipped race clips from this past weekend, where the NASCAR Camping World or whatever their sponsor is now literally wadded up like 25 cars at the start of a race or a restart.
I believe it was 20, but for that one, you got drivers trying to get going on dirt and it's slick out there. For
it's
this one,
yeah,
for these guys, it was a lot more of that second row trying to get going as soon as they could, and they just weren't able to get going, which you see a driver in front of you take off, you then want to take off, and it just turns into an accordion effect that brought out our first wreck before the drivers. Some of them even got to corner number 1. Looks like that of, I think the 25, Tony was able to get his repairs done, but still one of those things where drivers are all still on track, luckily, but not the way they wanted tonight's race to start out.
Yeah, definitely not the way they wanted to go. We're going to try this again. We're going to have, what about 6 laps complete, and that's under caution as we take the green one more time here for the American iRacing League Round 3, presented by Karma Salon and Day Spa. Race number 1 of the super late models, and that start there quite a bit better, Sam.
Hey, we survived a whole lap. We get across the line. Actually, I'm able to be the one that leads that lap. We've seen everyone else stacked up. They're 3 wide, trying to figure out how to dice their way through this field. And Jake Perkins decides to fall back. Oh no!
Caution is out.
Fender's gonna be stuck in that one. And I don't know how he was sideways riding on the side of his car and got back on all 4. But that was a hard collision for the 12 and the 110.
Yeah, we're going back to take a look at the 12 of Joshua Butler, and after the fact, I think somebody was trying to give him a little love tap after the caution here. We'll see if there was an incident reasoning for it. He didn't get him. Watch the 110 and the 12 after this is all said and done. Oh, and right there. So, obviously the 110 thinks the 12 is at fault here, and you can see right here, he's trying to get to his back bumper, but he epically fails at it. But he is definitely trying to get to the back bumper of that 12 and give him a payback shot, and misses completely. So was that strike and a miss?
Yeah, I mean, first things first, you're taught to wreck someone is you got to take them out, make sure you don't wreck yourself. So, I mean, you got one of the two right, but he didn't wreck the guy. You just gave him a little bit of a love tap. Hey, I'm here. Also, another driver involved with that was the 72 of Murray, and he had nowhere to go in that situation. Smoke was flying, and sometimes you hope the drivers are just going to move to the inside. Was not able to, and the 72's woes from earlier tonight in the Truck Series continues on as well.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that is a classic short track thing. Drivers get together, and then the failed retaliation. Can we call it that? A failed attempt at retaliation?
It was. I mean, it was an attempt, all right. It was a scare tactic.
Yeah, it was definitely something. Well, either way, that right there shows you that tempers are flaring here tonight. Fenders are definitely bent, tempers are flaring, and it makes you wonder how race number 2 is going to go. For that matter, we've still got 49 laps to go in this race. How's race 1 going to go?
Yeah, and what makes it even crazier is those are two drivers that were not even racing in our Truck Series. This is their first race of the night, so they're just irritated on the fact that they got themselves collected in something so early in just their first race of the night. So just trying to get that anger out of their system early on. So maybe that race 2 will be a little bit cleaner, but I think we know better than that. These drivers, bigger field, longer laps, giving you better shots to retaliate or cut your way through the field.
Yeah, definitely. I think this race is going to be one for the books. If these guys continue the way they're going, they're going to have some hurt feelings by the time we get to race number 2. We're getting ready. We are double filed one more time, and you have to question if they continue to beat and bang like this at cautions. When will race control, decide, hey, y'all are going to go single file. Y'all can't handle this double file stuff. So. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. Going to be 47 laps to go right now as we take the green flag here in twin race number 1, if I'll spit that one out properly, here for the super late models, and they're already being paid again about 5th place.
Yeah, Quentin's on the inside trying to figure out how to get by, but he's also got that of Kevin White. Also, Perkins trying to make their moves against one another, but still Perkins, he'll be fading back. But also in the mingle of all this is a 16 of Bombercat, who's just trying to get his nose and rear end out of all of that mess that could be happening, as still side-by-side action for 5th place.
Yeah, they are just duking it out side by side, and we got some going around a little further back, and they are going to possibly slow it down.
Absolute amazing save from the 132 of Eric Steele. He fell back, lost about 4 positions, but he got loose completely sideways, got tapped a couple of times, gets it straight, and they're still racing on. But in front of him, contact being made as it looks like that of the 14. Got to be careful not to get any more rubs going on with that machine.
Yeah, these guys, man, they are getting super aggressive. They are super late models, and maybe that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know. I don't drive these cars because, they're not easy to drive with a mouse, so we don't drive these cars very often. So, actually, I don't think I've ever driven the super late model because this particular version of it was not out while I was actually in my heyday of racing until I got into the aspect of broadcasting. So I never actually physically got to drive this one. Caution is out.
Yellow flag's gonna wave as that of Nagy and Steele making contact once again, and 132 was not able to save it this time, as we'll see here on our Pulse Poppers instant replay. Gotta love a little bit of American iRacing League racing action. We get to see those replay logos all the time. Hard racing action. Drivers just gonna be coming in a little bit too hard into these corners, and everyone's gonna get jammed up on the entry of turn 3 here.
Yeah, you're about to see coming up. Yeah, just like you said, just getting jammed up a little bit. one thing leads to another, and well, then the yellow flag comes back out and visits us one more time. Thomas Axel still out front in the number 13 machine, as we have right now 40 to go in this race. We've completed 21 to this point, so this race starting to be a little bit of a caution fiesta. I want some chips and salsa.
Ooh. Maybe a little bit of a tiny, small break for us. You'll grab some chips and salsa.
I'm thinking that myself. Hopefully we have a little bit of a break between this one and the next one, as I've already requested for both of us. Just so you know, I don't know if Jeff Stabnow, our boss, is out there tuning in, but I've already requested hazard pay because our voices are going to be strained so much after a 2.5 hour broadcast, and then another 2.5 hour broadcast. That's 5 hours of broadcasting. So that anything over 2 hours in one day, that is hazard pay. So we have we have filed for hazard pay for tonight.
Oh man, you just tap on. You just keep on tacking on throughout the week of all the different broadcasts we do. Yeah, I would be okay with hazard pay. Hazard pay would be great. As talking about today's race right now, do want to give note, 9th place, Steele Langford, our winner from Langley. Gotta say credit to him, moving through the field, started all the way back in 23rd, up to 9th. Driver to watch out for late in this race if we can continue to move forward.
Hey, definitely someone to look out for. And, I don't know what you take for hazard pay, but I specifically asked for buffalo style chicken wings is my hazard pay, but I'm not sure. What do you typically request for your hazard pay?
Oh, at least a bunch of tea to try to soothe my voice. I don't know how wings would help your voice out at all, but it would taste good.
Yeah, they would not help at all.
No, it would make it so much worse.
But, that's just the product. Everyone that knows me knows that I have an unhealthy obsession with Buffalo Wild Wings. The dry rub buffalo seasoning is by far, hands down, my favorite. And, hey, maybe I can be a winner so I can get a chicken dinner. But either way, green flag is coming back out right there. And we are racing 36 laps to go. As we're going about 2 or 3 laps, 5 laps green, and then a couple of caution laps. And we'll see these guys. Oh, that is Mombercat. He is getting real loose.
Got a little bit of contact between themselves and Reslap, and Reslap going to be moving forward, but caution as cars wrecking in the middle of the corner, and dropping back quick is Butler. The 12 stuck on the apron in the grass through 1 and 2.
And while we watch go back to the Volts Poppers replay, remind yourself that you have Ritzlaff and Mombercat there fixing to come racing each other, and they've already had issues in the trucks. So, it was netcode according to one driver. It was on purpose according to the other. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on and see if that comes back. And I think the 12 just broke loose.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mixture of slight contact from the 33, but looks like netcode is going to be the call from race admin. So we'll see if Butler's going to be the driver given, as we'll see here from the overview.
Yeah, definitely netcode.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if there wasn't netcode, there's the possible chance of there being real contact, but netcode was for sure initiating that wreck for the 12, and Butler all the way in the back of the line, as I don't believe that race control is going to give anyone an EOL on that incident.
Yeah, I don't think they should have either, but that is their call if they choose to. But yeah, definitely I agree with what we heard of their over race control radio, that netcode was involved. You can clearly see it there from the drone, and I absolutely love that drone footage that we have access to now, as we like the eye in the sky.
Oh yeah, it helps you get a different view. I mean, so I love all the racetrack cameras that we have normally, but that drone cam just allows us to really see what's actually going on from an open and above view to see if anyone truly made contact or if it was netcode. or someone really didn't hold their line when they called out that they did.
And we've caught many times where someone said, I didn't touch him, I didn't go up, I held my line, and you go watch the drone camera, and well, you can tell that they did not hold their line.
Yeah, also it's fun whenever you go into cockpit view and you see that their steering wheel wasn't turning as hard as they were the last couple of laps. They kind of just let the car drift off.
We have seen lots of stuff. These guys realize too, and they know it. We have cameras in every single car. With just the click of a button, you go like this, bam, you're inside the car with Thomas Axum right now. So we have lots of different views at our exposal here. We've got all kinds of crazy views we don't ever use. Strapped to the side of the car. Yeah, we'll use that one. Never. There is the gearbox cam for Thomas Axum as we're getting ready to take the green one more time, and you can already see them starting to rev those engines up.
I think the next question I got to ask whenever we get to the chance with our leaders is, what is up with these restarts between our front two? Always bumping and rubbing off one another. Here comes that of Paulson as well as Axum side by side for the lead. Still more contact coming out of turn two, and the rest of the field tries to straighten out. They're still hard racing throughout the whole entire field.
There's definitely some hard racing. We're going to go 3 wide a little further back. They sorted out 29 laps to go. We're past the halfway mark. 29 down, 29 to go. Caution is out, and we're wadding up the field.
Oh, it's even worse than the first wreck. More drivers piling in. But the 51 on our ticker, 18 on his car of Cole Quinn gets a little bit of contact possibly here. Goes around for Mombercat. It looks like, though, it could have been another one of the cases of netcode. As with the super late models, everyone's so close. The hitbox right there, but you're going to be seeing it entering the corner of 1 and 2 through the center of 1 and 2. Drivers just getting a little bit close here.
Yeah, he just got him there. There was, if it was netcode, it was very thin because he definitely looked like there was contact, and then it was on after that, and they just started beating and banging as they were going around. But again, tempers are not going to be sitting too pretty when we go into race number. We'll be here before you know it, as we're already about going to be 24 to go when we take the green again. So race number 2 going to be coming up very quickly.
Yeah, and after that contact, race control deems it as it was Mombercat with the contact made, so he'll be given an EOL penalty starting at the end of the line on our next restart. And, just that hard racing, drivers coming into these corners trying to carry as much speed as possible, but sometimes when they're low, below someone, that shallow entry into the corners can cause the car to drift up, make contact with someone, which means you got to put more brake in if you want to slow down so you don't drift into someone else, which is costing you more speed and more time.
Yeah, they've got to be careful here. Maybe we can finish these last 26 out without any incident, as we're looking at about 8:30 Central Time. So we kind of plead with these guys, Sam. We want a little bit of a break in between this race and the next one, because, well, I want to rest my voice.
Yeah, resting our voice would be a good thing before our late night showing and the start of our Nashville couple of races. We have a string that are coming up here on LSRTV. But for the drivers here tonight, I don't see them giving us any type of a break anytime soon. As over the radio, Mombercat and Wilson, they've been bickering back and forth. At first, I thought I was concerned they were actually angry at one another. Now turned into playful bickering as pace car pulls off. Green flag back in the air, and Axum, once again, he's got to figure out how to get by the 33 for the 4th time tonight.
And it looks like he's going to do it. Oh, a little contact, though, as he gave him a shot in the shorts from the 33 to the 13, said, I'm here, and here comes Parker Retzlaff. That was enough of a tap that it slowed down the 33 of Polins and allowed Retzlaff and who's that, Perkins, to get by as well. But that battle's not over between Perkins and Polins, as they're side by side. And look who it is, Kevin White Jr. into the mix right now in 5th.
Kevin White Jr. caught up in a first wreck of the night, trying to figure out how to get himself back up front. Got a little bit of nose damage for the 38 as he's watching Perkins, Polins still side by side, and it looks like they're finally getting it sorted. Polins going to be falling in front, but they're wrecking in the back. As main issues, 3, 4, possibly 5 drivers involved in this one, as everyone tries to get themselves straight here.
As Pulse Poppers getting their money's worth here tonight. We'll see what happened here in the Pulse Poppers replay. And the carnage, we know that for sure. And we're back here around the 24, the 12, the 93 as well. Let's see exactly, indeed, what happened. Oh, 24 into the wall, collects the 41, the 16, and there you go. Just maybe overdrove it into the corner, possibly just got in and the car did not want to turn, but either way, a hard contact to the wall as the culprit for that one from the 24.
Yeah, a lot of hard contact, and I think one of the drivers that just came in, sadly, was involved, Eric Sellers. I mean, a lot of drivers just trying to clear up what exactly happened, and the admins are still scratching their heads on what the heck happened, because it was just a simple mistake of a driver getting up into the outside wall for Cole, and then next thing you know, more drivers coming in, piling in, and it's one of those accordion effects where you're running your line. If you're on the outside, you got to stick there, and you really don't have a possible chance of slowing down, going down below an incident, because there's just not enough reaction time for a driver to make that type of a move.
Yeah, there's definitely reaction time is so crucial here, and if you just don't have the time, well, you don't have the time, and stuff like that's gonna happen. So it's unfortunate when it does, but you just kind of have to regroup and try again.
Restack him and try him again for Parker Retzlaff. He goes from third place, where he's been starting most of the night, now in second, where we saw that David Lenz. It did not really work out for the 33, that last restart, for him to try to have a shot to challenge. But now the 33 of Lenz, he's going to have a shot to possibly figure out this restart, get below Retzlaff if possible, and try to challenge our leader. But Axum's been feeling comfortable up front, but you got to remember, these drivers will be inverted in the top 8 once we go green for our second race of the night for the super late models, our final race of the evening. As we are green, it's Axum, Retzlaff able to get going, but they are stacked 2 by 2 by 2, 3 rows deep.
Oh, and that was Axum just drove Retzlaff hard into the wall, just drove up. I mean, we won't say he did it on purpose, maybe the car just wouldn't turn, but he pushed him hard into the corner, and Retzlaff slammed that outside wall. That's going to shove him back to 4th place here at the moment. He may get a top 3 out of this. We'll see. He's going to get by David Polins, but that is not going to sit well with Retzlaff if he's catches back up to Axum.
Yeah, I mean, luckily this is short track racing, so a little bit of that side damage shouldn't hurt him too bad, but already another caution ensues. It's going to be the 7 of Williams. Also, Berg going to be involved with the 14. And drivers reckon on the front stretch for themselves, and that means we get to restack him, try again. But I do want to touch on that incident of Axum and of Retzlaff contact, putting the 42 into the outside wall. Immediately after Retzlaff got out of the wall, he never had a chance to verbally retaliate on that incident. It was Axum that came over the radio and tried to defend himself in that incident almost immediately. Interesting to see these drivers on how they're trying to communicate over that incident. But what brought out this caution were some of the drivers in the back getting a little bit too frisky.
Yeah, and not too much to go over there, so we won't go back to that. We do want to cover this, though, because if I recall, and I'd have to go back and watch some past broadcasts, but Parker Retzlaff and Thomas Axum, I am pretty sure that these two have an axe to grind with each other. They're not exactly the best of friends and have had incidents on the track before. So, he got real lucky, if you're Axum, that didn't trigger the caution, because that would have definitely sent him to the back. And I'm really hoping that we get to talk to Retzlaff and Axum here in the post race, because it could be a very interesting conversation to talk to those two, because there's not going to be any love lost between them, I do not believe.
No, I mean, that's the one thing with short track racing is you've got some of the best coming out here trying to put on the best show they can and win some, get some points, win some money. And that just means there is high tension out there to do as well as you can. That means you got to make some aggressive moves. And for that of Retzlaff, he tried to pinch it on the high side, try to get it done. Axum pushed up just slightly, and both the drivers looking for the same real estate, and it's going to cost one of them. Sometimes both drivers get involved in those types of wrecks, but race one of the Super Late models soon to be coming to a close. Our second to last race of the night for the American iRacing League, and these guys have been putting on a show so far here tonight. But Charles, there's still more racing action even after we're done with the Super Late models on LSRTV.
Yeah, we go for the first time as of about 2-3 hours ago. I bought Nashville, so we are going to Nashville for 3 races in a row tonight, Wednesday night for 2 races, and then due to work schedule, I'm unavailable on Fridays and Saturdays anymore, as I am on support for a race on Texas. So my weekends are done. Sundays are up in the air right now. We'll find out about those here soon, but yeah, 3 Nashville races starting tonight at 10:35 p.m. Central Time. Should be a good one. Again, I've never been to Nashville before, just bought the track, so looking forward to seeing how the racing goes there with 9 laps to go in this one.
It's an interesting 1.3 mile D-shaped course, Nashville Super Speedway later on tonight. But we got to finish off this race. 10 laps to go as it comes down to 9 laps to go. Axum as well as Perkins, they're racing hard. Retzlaff as well. And drivers shuffling, getting close to one another as they are side by side. Hard racing action, almost 3 wide as they're battling from 6th on back.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this little group of cars right here. Like you said, from about 6th place on back, we'll keep an eye on Retzlaff to see if he gets by Perkins, and he's going to have to do it some other time as the caution is out. This time it looks like possibly for Cody Knott in the 26, and he cleared the track, it looks like, so he is just vanished. Not sure if he went for a ride here or if he just cleared the track as quickly as he could to maybe not bring out a caution, and it brought one out anyway. But we're about to find out here as Pulse Poppers is Cody Knott. So Cody Knott's bringing out his own Pulse Poppers replay. Potentially he may have helped though.
Yeah, these guys racing hard in the back, and a little bit of contact made between themselves and immediately out of here. You know, a reason that some of these drivers might be being pulled out immediately could be the incident limit that these drivers have. They do have 18 incident points, so if you make contact with someone pretty hard, that can give you 4 incident points. If you brush the wall, that can give you 1 to 2 incident points. And also if you go down to the apron, have any type of incidences there, that give you 1 to 2 incident points. And it looks like for a lot of these guys, making contact immediately kicked because they were DQ'd for too many incident points.
Well, that is like the worst way you can definitely go out of a race, is incident points. It does happen though from time to time, as it primarily happens on short track racing, but I've seen it on big tracks too, so unfortunate way to go.
Yeah, and especially with just 18, you can be caught up in, one incident, one wreck. You can be hit multiple times, which can just pile on all of those points to where you have to race kind of conservatively, and then you can be caught up in a mess like that where someone else gets loose in front of you, hard contact, and you are kicked out of the race. But luckily, these drivers do have the second race of the night for the Super Late models, our final race of the night for the American iRacing League. Certainly is going to be a lot of hard, some drivers already having some hurt feelings. They might want to try to retaliate from that. And for others, just try to have a better day than where they finished out the first race.
Yeah, definitely. You want to finish better than you started and better than you finished in the last one. We'll see how it goes. The lights are still on, so I believe this will send us into overtime. Keep in mind, this would be our first attempt at a green-white checkered as well, and it would again be overtime. We'll see. Right now we're on lap 57 of 60, so we're not officially in overtime yet. And no, I stand corrected. This is going to be a old natural green-white checkered.
In regulation, green, white, checkered. For the potential shot of 4 green, white, checkers, 3 of them would be in overtime if needed. But we saw this under the trucks race. Both of them went overtime. We'll see if the super late models want to take a little bit of a dip into extra time if needed. Perkins, Axum, we are green for race number 1 for the super late models.
The green of lag back out, and here comes Parker Redslav, and actually here comes Perkins. And Perkins going to try to take that lead away down the backstretch. He had it. We'll see if he can hang on to it coming to the line. We've already seen the outside lane be quite powerful, and he didn't have it at the line, I don't believe, as it is officially your CRN. 1 to go. White flags in the air. They're sideways and wrecking.
Oh, they spun him. They stay green as it's the white flag, and it's going to be that of Parker Redslav stealing away the lead after our front 2 make contact. The 42 makes it 3 tonight. Parker Redslav, David Polins, and oh boy, are they still wrecking coming across the line as Perkins and Axum, they duke it out.
Yeah, I can promise you right now that is not going to sit pretty with those drivers here tonight, as there will be some probably retaliation, or at least some very strong words, and a lack of Christmas cards going out here shortly. But we got about 5-minute intermission here. We're going to step aside till these top 3, or at least some of them, get in here with us. And when they do, we'll talk to them, see what they have to say about going into race number 2. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we have, it looks like David Plins, he's working on his mic, I do believe. And there we go, we got him in here with us, and we also have Parker Redslav. David, we're going to get to you in just a second. First, I'm going to Parker Redslav. Redslav, it was a good race. You know, this race is sponsored by someone called Karma. Did Karma happen here tonight?
I mean, I feel like it did. We were battling hard for the lead, and he walled me, and then him and Perkins were battling, and my car was like destroyed, so I was just gonna take my 3rd place finish, and they ended up wrecking each other, and the wind fell into my lap.
Well, you know, before we hand it to Sam, I have one question: is Thomas Axum on your Christmas list here for December?
I mean, I'm not gonna hold a grudge on what happened this race. Whatever, it's whatever. Everyone makes mistakes. Maybe he didn't do it on purpose, but I won the race in the end, so I can't be mad about it. I just gotta move on and try and win another one.
So for all the fans out there watching, that is a long, complicated way of saying no. Sam, he's all yours.
Man, you're just trying to put him in a bad spot. Parker, you did a great job trying to recover after being put in the wall. But I got to ask for the setup-wise. You told us the trucks were tight. How are these super late models feeling in your hands?
Once again, it's just the set's too tight for me. It feels like it slides and doesn't turn, so it's not happy to my liking from the start, but I feel like it gets better and comes to me late in the race.
Now, we'll probably be talking to you here in a minute, so we'll let you go as the next race is about to go. We got 30 seconds. David, you came in second place here tonight. A lot of beating and banging going. Are you hoping for a little bit cleaner race and still a good finish in race number 2?
Oh, man, I had a blast out there running with these guys. Got to congratulate Parker. I actually got into his right rear a little bit, the restart before that, and took him out of it a little bit, and then he got back up there to win it. So congrats to him, and finally a little bit of luck on for me, and thankful to my spotter too, Scott Finke. Was able to miss that wreck at the end and stay right there, just competed for the win the whole time. But I'm not really surprised by what happened at the end. They call him Thomas Axhole for a reason, so not a big surprise, and thankful for him. We got a top 3 finish.
Well, there you go. We got a new nickname for him on the podcast. That being said, David, I wouldn't run off too far. I may put you in the booth later tonight.
All right, man. Sounds good. I hope to be back in the top 3, and I got to thank all my sponsors, DPF Services, LLC, Scott Finke. We're about to go racing here in just a second, but I got to get them in there. Also got to thank Brian Polenz and Moon Racing and Dan Fleming up in New Jersey, and several other people. Anybody I missed, got to thank them.
All right, well, there you go again. Maybe we can convince David to be in the booth for the Northwest Cup Series coming up here in just a little bit, but we'll get him down ready to go. Sam, I like working with you, but I like saving my voice, and I like producing a little more, so maybe we can convince him to be in the booth with you, or maybe with both of us here in just a little bit as we're short-handed. We got a couple of people missing. We got Wesley off. I don't know what Wesley's doing. He's doing what Wesley does, and then Greg, he's doing what Greg does, and well, it's left to the, I don't know. Well, you may be part of the A team. I'm like the B or F team or something.
I was always the backup guy, so it's interesting being forced into the starting roles. But I believe both Wesley and Greg both had racetrack obligations that they had to go to, so they weren't able to show up as drivers getting ready to get back out there. Remember, our top 8 were inverted from how they finished in the first race for the super late model, so Thomas Axiom, he's going to be back in the front row once again, so everyone's got to figure out how to get by the 13 once again, but he's got to figure out how to get by that of Bonberket, who's going to be on his inside 16. Haven't seen him up front. He's been 4th or back further than that. He's been caught up in a lot of messes, but certainly could be a good call for himself if he could get by that of Axiom.
Yeah, we'll see if Axum can try and get by Bonberket. Again, he's been a little further back, but he definitely has that logo prominent on the hood of his car here for tonight. So if he does finish up towards front, ahead of the 33, as you can see the logo, the Karma Salon and Day Spa on there as well. There's a couple of them. You got about 1st, 4th, somewhere around 8th or 9th has one as well. So you can definitely see them. Those guys are running for that $25, and I'm sure Tyler Payne will let us know who won the $25 from the last race here momentarily, as we know he's tuning in for the broadcast, just can't race here tonight, but we are already underway one more time, and we'll just gonna wait and see how this one goes, Sam.
They're going to already be single filed out until 6th place, but got it shuffled. It's going to be that of Cole Quinn, who's now going to be forcing it 3 wide. And David Polenz got to be careful as they're sliding. It's our winner from the last race. Got to be careful. Drivers come to a stop. A little bit of a tap from Knott. But Parker Retzlaff somehow sneaks away with the whole field driving by him with only a little ding to his door side.
Yeah, I'm not sure how in the world everybody avoided him, and we'll see. We're going to go to that drone footage here again that is presented by All American Pulls and see exactly what happened and what transpired. There's 3 wide, little contact there between the 33 and the 33, and then just contact by multiple drivers except for that little thing right there. Cody Knott just rings his bell just a little. He didn't hit him hard, so good job for Cody Knott to woe that car up. And it's not hard, or it's not easy to woe these cars up, especially when you're coming from racing speeds and the track's 133. It is slippery out there.
Yeah, it is extremely hot. I know for the trucks race, I think the hottest it was 113. And now here for the super late models, they've already been talked about how tight the setup is for the drivers, which means they got to get on the brakes. They really got to turn and crank the wheel. And with this race being 60 laps and it being a tight setup, you are going to use a lot of rubber on your tires with how much wheel input you have to do, which means you are turning the tires more, burning off the rubber faster, and you're losing grip and sliding even more than when you were when you started out the race.
Yeah, definitely a crazy race for sure. And we found out that Thomas Axum was the winner, by the way, of that $25 in the last race, which means he is ineligible for the 25 this race. Bombercat is your current sitter, position sitter that would be eligible. He's in front, so nobody's in front of him. So he just has to be the highest finisher. So he can still lose 1 spot and still get it, but he cannot lose 2. If Langford already has it too, so he could lose several spots here tonight so far as they run and still be eligible for the $25 from Karma Salon and Day Spa.
Yeah, but Bombercat, this is now 2 races in a row where he's come up short by just 1 driver. So he's got to hope that doesn't happen again. Hoping to get $25 here as it's a race inside of a race. We know that Thomas Axiom dominated the first race for the super late models. We'll see if he can get the win here as the 16 gets a little bit of a shuffle, which gives an opportunity for the 13 to stay on his outside.
Oh, interesting for sure. So we'll get to that top bar back up for you and see how it all plays out. They're still side by side. Caution is out though.
Oh, it's going to be Retzlaff involved in this one. Same with Knott, and could be lots of other ones caught up in this one. As it was backstretch shenanigans, and Retzlaff went flipping on his roof. A little bit of a slide, though. It wasn't like he went completely flipping, but he had a little bit of help that sent him around. The wall was not his friend. And I don't think we're going to be seeing the 42 sweeping again.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for him to sweep this one, if at all. And oh, yeah, he swept the wall all right. And that is a hard lick. And Cody Knott actually managed to avoid it. He didn't touch him at all. Just loaded up just in time. So another very good job from Cody Knott to avoid really getting a whole lot of damage after seeing the 42 upside down, basically flipping in front of him.
Yeah, Knott's learned about the brakes. I'm happy. Cody is not doing what we call ARCA braking, where you just come flying through an accident without any cares in the world. But this is kind of the thing that hurts drivers if you get put further back in the field, is you can be caught up in these messes of drivers in front of you that puts you in bad situations. Dustin Bombercat, who's leading this race, he was caught up in a lot of those messes in the last 3 races we've had here tonight, and he's done a great job now of being up front. Once he's got that track position, his goal not to relinquish it at all. But looking at the drivers that have won so far this season in the super late models, Parker Retzlaff, he's won the first 3 races, and then at race 2, when we were back at Langley for our second week of the season, it was Steele Langford who was going to win that one. Steele right now, he's in 3rd position with that 223. He'll be sitting behind that of Bombercat. We'll see if he can find himself following the 16 and getting by the 13.
That'd be interesting to see if he can. Again, we're already at 50 to go. We've really only completed 10 laps. It seems like we would have done more, and we probably would have if not for the caution. So we'll have to see. I'm sure Race Control is telling these guys at this point to calm down. We need to get some green flag racing in, and that's what the fans want to see. That's what these drivers want to see. It's just unfortunate sometimes when it doesn't happen, but the green is back out and we are racing, and already it's a hornet's nest back from third all the way back to about 8th.
Bumpercat got a great launch, putting Axum right behind him, and then you've got that center, but center's gonna go sliding around, gets himself pushed straight, and we stay green. About to say that though, gotta watch out behind them. Eric Steele, he gets sideways once again, has to make another abrasive saving move, but the middle of the field, it's dangerous, it's damaged, and more cars spinning and wrecking. Another caution. And no, Cody Knott just can't get away from this stuff.
Yeah, Cody Knott is just... he is right in the middle of the war zone. He's not in the war. He just happens to be an innocent bystander in every one of them, it seems like. As you're about to see what happened, it was between the 33, David Plins, and there's the 110. That doesn't shake it all up. We'll see here in a moment what actually does. And yeah, the 38 slides up, gives him a shot, and bam, right there. And where's Cody Knott in all this? He just can't check up this time.
And could not slow down. Hard contact with himself in the 33. And looks like, given the EOL, going to be that of Kevin White with the EOL, which hard contact between himself and Blins. One of those things where the driver is just trying to get aggressive, but I was touching on it. When you have a tight setup that's already making you slide in the center of the corner and entering the corner, when you get on the brakes, the longer you run out here, the more brakes you need to use, the harder it is to slow down enough so your car doesn't slide up into someone else, which it just did not work for Kevin White, who goes back to the back of the field, where we've already seen if you get an EOL or get sent to the back, it is not a safe place to be if someone wrecks in front of you.
No, it definitely is not to the place that you want to be at all. Again, it's just been a bit of chaos here in race number 2 for sure. And we kind of figured, we were wondering if this is how it would go. These guys is starting to get a little bit more aggressive. They're starting to have a little frustration with each other. And, you also start building that frustration up of, if you're not involved in the cautions, you're getting frustrated with the people that are involved with the cautions. So frustration levels are probably through the roof right now.
Oh, absolutely. As drivers stacked up, ready to get going. Axum, Bombercat, and then you've also got that of Cole Quinton, who somehow has rebounded back to 3rd place after being shuffled around. You've also got that of Steele Langford, who's going to do his best to move forward on the inside in 4th. Pace car is off, and we are green once again, inching ourselves closer and closer to 40 laps to go. But a great launch for that of the 233. Langford trying to push that of Axum a little bit higher, but just could not get the run out of the corner.
Yeah, Bombercat hoping to collect on that $25 here in just a little bit. But look at this battle back here. These guys are 3 wide. They were just a few moments ago. They are not settling down at all. The further you go back in this field, there's a little bit of battle going on for about 3rd, 4th, but there's a huge one right here,
no!
And there is a problem.
Eric Steele going to be caught up in this. Also, the 41, Mario going to be involved, and I think the 41's engine is gone. His day is done.
We'll see exactly here.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, drivers just getting pinched up. I think Perkins might have tapped Steele just slightly, which caused him to come up into the 41. This is going to be coming out of turn number 2. The drivers so close to one another, and bing bong, there they go into the inside wall. Gosh, I mean, these drivers getting so aggressive. This is kind of what we're kind of getting used to seeing week after week.
And it's unfortunate to see this many cautions here. Now we have 40 to go. We've completed 20 laps. 20 laps complete, working lap 21. And unfortunately for this race, unlike the other three, the majority of this race has been under caution. A borderline for the last race there, but those first two truck races were actually really good, mostly low caution races. So unfortunately that trend did break when we got to the super late models, but in between the cautions we've seen here in this final race, same as we've seen in the series, every week they come here for the lap or two, 3 laps we go racing. There's some really good 3 wide, 2 wide racing throughout the field, and then somebody just gets a little aggressive and we end up bringing out that caution again.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one of those things with the trucks is where they were figuring out how to get themselves, if an incident happened, they would get all spread out, so they had space to run around one another. Here with the super late models, there's just not enough space. Everyone's still on top of one another, and also out of reports, they are now going to be taking these restarts single file from here on out, it looks like. So everyone's going up to the high line, not giving anyone space to make a pass. Pace car is off, and we are green.
Yeah, we wondered when they were going to throw single file restarts, and they did it with about 37 laps to go after multiple cautions back to back, and this very well could settle them down. When you run single file restart, you run two things. One, it calms people down a little bit because they're not side by side right there with them. However, if you start someone, say like Cole Quinton, who would have been on the outside and he could have maybe made a move, then may make him race a little more aggressive than he already was. So there's two sides to the coin of single file restarts, but definitely it seems to be working so far.
Yeah, and really everyone's still saying single file out. Not a lot of passes have gone out. RS Centers to be able to make a pass, but contact going to be made, and it's Retzlaff once again. And he was up in the top 10. He was making his charge forward, but with that incident, I don't know if he's going to have enough time from here on out to do it again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Again, you can only charge to the front so many times before you just don't have time to do it. And we're going to find out right here what happened, and possibly a little contact with the 25.
Yeah, it's going to be in the center of the corner right here. Quadro's going to be trying to do his best to woe up so he doesn't slide, and then contact in the back that just spun Retzlaff around.
Unfortunate. Just a tough race here for Retzlaff. This is uncharacteristic of him for sure.
Yeah, and that was going to be Wally Wilson, who was the driver that just clipped Retzlaff around. And drivers, they're running this close to one another. Like I said, looking back, I think also Eric Steele might have been caught up in a... No, actually, that was Corey Williams that found himself spinning out of the corner to finish out that wreck. And it looks like that was a completely different incident from what happened, trying to get away from everyone else and got himself spun around with a little bit of contact from that of the 38 of Kevin White Jr.
Kevin White Jr.'s had a up and down night here tonight, but overall, I think it's been a good night for him. Just again, a little bit up and down. Bombercat doing fantastic though, considering how he's been. He definitely is liking that. It's a hard track to pass right now.
Oh yeah, and making it single file out actually makes this so much better for the leaders because they can take off whenever they feel like. It gives them plenty of space, and Bombercat doesn't have to worry about a single slip up on the restart. He's going to have the 13 stuck to his outside, where we've seen on these green-white checkered attempts that if you're on the outside, you still can win this race, as we saw for the second race for the Truck Series. Seeing Retzlaff muscle his way and able to steal a win. And now here tonight, questioning, will Bombercat get a win for himself and be the third winner in the super late model series as the drivers here been all that, a Parker Reds lap, but you touched on it. This is very uncharacteristic from that 42 team that's back in 17th position.
Yeah, it definitely is. So we'll see. Again, does he have time to get the front? Does anybody have time to get the front? And even if you do you have time to pass anyone? They are going to go single file restarts again, which no surprise there. We figured they would stay single file, and they probably will for the remainder of this race, as we got them already hitting the brakes back in the midfield to the rear of the field and checking up each other and wrecking. But that's not going to affect the start of this race, restart of this race. 29 laps to go is what remains in this one. We are right at the halfway point.
And watching these drivers on this restart, top three got a great start for themselves, pulling away from the rest of the field. Colton Everingham, he's one of those drivers I'm concerned about. He's getting loose out of the corner. He's being aggressive, pressuring that of Ryan Pollins, and might be the cause of our next caution if he's not careful. But as I say that, the drivers in the middle of the field, they'll throw the caution out for themselves.
Yeah, we'll see. And this another one will stay alive here, but breeding cautions here for tonight.
I mean, it's just seeming like drivers are still not sure how the different braking zones are working for both drivers. As Kevin White came over the radio, he felt like Cole stomped on the brakes in the middle of the corner, which he might have, because he's got drivers in front of him that he can't get by. Everyone has to be patient in this, as it's a lot of traffic, and if you're going to be making passes, you've got to set this up going into the corners, and you cannot be making any passes through the center unless you've got space to get back on the throttle as soon as possible.
Yeah, so many variables in this race. You know, corner entry, corner exit. The track temperature, by the way, track temp is 136. It's the hottest it has been all night long, plus all the rubber that's been laid down on this track already. You can see how dark it is. All that's playing a factor into this race.
Yeah, I think the last time we touched on it was 133, which that was back around lap 12. So it is just climbing, and it's making things a lot more dangerous for these drivers as there's less grip out there. That means they're heating up their right fronts with how tight it's been. They are just losing grip, rubber, and tires the longer the race goes on. They got to be careful of this, especially with there are no tire changes in this race. So what you're burning off now is what you have to carry on throughout this whole entire run.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one for sure for these guys. We already know how the car's handling, and we know what they feel about it. And well, it's not good. They don't like it.
No, they are not liking it at all. And drivers now are questioning where they want to take themselves from here on out. I mean, I know for the leaders, they want to get themselves into a green run. They want to race this thing out. And, you know, as a racer, there's certain moments where you're like, hey, I won this race. It's great. For those that possibly didn't think they were going to win this thing. And there's other drivers that want to win with pride, knowing, hey, I beat you while we were running this course. Green flag racing. And we'll see if we can stay green. Pace car is off. We're green once again. Marquette, Axum, and Quinn, your top three.
23 laps to go. Just updated, as we're going to go flying down the backstretch here. Axum just really hasn't had anything for Mombercat. I think Mombercat may have been one of the fastest drivers, but unfortunately, because of the fact that he was trapped and couldn't pass, he really didn't get to show that in the last race. And tonight, once he got to the front on that invert, he's really been able to stay out there. And nobody's, you know, it's not that they just couldn't pass him. Nobody's really been there to make that move to try to get by him. So I think he's definitely got the fastest car here tonight.
Yeah, and for Thomas Axum, he's just overcooking, coming into these corners a little bit too fast for my liking, where his apex of the corner is just a little bit too wide, as that of Corey Williams goes into pit road. Issues for the 19 and into the wall, and here comes Axum to the lead, and also got to watch out, here comes Quinn and others behind.
Yeah, the Mombercat just plowed into the outside wall, and that is a product of this car just not wanting to turn And we've heard it over and over again. It was the same thing with the trucks, same here with the super late models. As we have 20 to go, now it's going to make it almost impossible with that damage, plus the fact that the car just doesn't want to turn to get by the 13 of Axum here to take that lead back.
Well, I know coming into this race, during our warm-up time where we were interviewing the drivers, there was still a lot of arguments between drivers, and Thomas Axum was one of the main focuses of that race. So if anyone can get close to the 13, I wouldn't be surprised if any of them decide to ruffle his feathers, trying to move him out of the way with a little bit of a bump here or there. But now it's the hardest part. How do you get to the bumper of the 13 when he has been the fastest car in these super late models here at New Smyrna all day long? And it's I don't know if there's anyone else out there that can catch him, especially when some of the other faster cars, they've got a lot of damage, and you're just seeing Bombercat, he is slipping and sliding coming out of these corners.
Yeah, and you know, we're also seeing now too, other than right about here, there's not a whole lot going on the racetrack as far as battles. They've kind of fizzled out, so that could play a factor into, you know, could we see the rest of this race go caution free for 15 laps? If it does, that's going to really make it hard, because these guys that have a little damage, they're not going to be good on the long runs. That car may still handle on a short run if they just need a quick burst and then be done, like we've been seeing. But if you have to maintain speed, that's going to be difficult, as it looks like somebody, I thought they blew the engine in that 25, but apparently not, just a little smoke.
Yeah, that's Ryan Pollins, and Ryan he locked up those tires to the center of the corner, and he is still struggling right now going on the entry, center of the corner, and exit. It is just a handful for this machine. Still contact. We touched on it when we were talking about the first race with the super elite models. Drivers being DQ'd because of incident points, and just like that, Ryan, oh my goodness, Retzlaff, he gets DQ'd just like that. He was just one incident point away, and because of that slight mishap from Pollins and contact made, the 42 is done for the day.
Yeah, that is the first time in the history of this series since we've been covering it that we've seen Parker Retzlaff disqualified from a race due to incident points. So a record being set here tonight, not the record Parker Retzlaff wanted to see at all, but it is one that he now holds as, personally anyway, for the first time being disqualified from a race due to incident points. Again, not a personal record you want to have, but he does have it.
Yeah, and got to capture it there. Got to see the drivers that are just feeling a little bit out of control at times right now, especially with the tire wear. But we are now 10 laps to go. These drivers feeling the pressure of gaining as many positions as you can if you're close to somebody. But up front, Thomas Axum, just once he got up front, able to pull away, and no one else really was been close.
No one really has been. Again, Bombercat, I think, up as the caution comes out. Not sure what the caution's for here either. There is nobody off pace.
Oh, there was someone that got out of sorts. Looking to see. Oh, I think I might have found it. Driver get out of control was that of Wally Wilson, which that was around the 12 where we've been seeing those drivers getting antsy, and might have been a little bit of contact between those two. Both drivers saved it, but because the 7 was so sideways, brought out the yellow, which clogs them all up again, and Bombercat's got another shot if he wants to try to get a win here.
Yeah, he's got a last-ditch effort here. He's going to try, and we'll see. We have 7 laps to go. Don't know if this, I don't think this will send us into overtime here, but it may shoot us close to a green-white checker, because we'll spend a good 3-4 laps under the yellow here. So we'll have to wait, and hopefully we do not go into multiple overtimes here and extend this one out, as we are already working 9:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:20 technically. We'll round up to 9:30. Well, that means very soon we'll be getting ready to go over to the Northwest Cup Series, and I would like a little time to get some watermelon, and you know, it's really ripe here at the season, so some watermelon and maybe some water, and We're still looking. Hopefully, David Blends maybe will join us in the booth for the Northwest Cup Series as well.
You're going to have to really figure out how to talk him into that one, as it's going to be a late night with the Northwest guys, as they're going to be at Nashville Super Speedway. But if we somehow can just get David into the booth, that'd be great to help you out. But I still have to figure out how to save my voice for the rest of the week.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and I believe, because you'll be in the booth. I will not. If Greg makes it back on Wednesday, that'll save you for the Northwest Truck Series, because I believe Wesley will be back, possibly Greg. If not, it'll be you and Wesley, and then of course for the SMB Cup Series, that will be you and Wesley as well. So we'll see how it all plays out. Who's in the booth? Our booth is kind of a revolving door right now. People are coming in and going. So we'll see again. This is how it all plays out. But right now there are 4 laps to go in this race, as this Axum out front, followed by Mombercat, and 3 to go here in the final race.
3 to go. Thomas Axum going to be out front. Mombercat's going to be right on his back bumper. Second car in line. If he wants a shot, he's got to get into the car, not into the wall, and comes sliding across the field. Quinn able to make the pass, but the 16, he comes back into the field, bullying his way back into 4th place. Mombercat twice into the outside wall. Here comes the 12, almost making contact with the 10.
And the 12 of Joshua Butler, he has been just about everywhere on this track tonight, as he is working his way up. We're coming up on the CRN. 1 to go right there. Make sure the yellow flag does not come out. It does not. It is officially 1 to go here for the final race here tonight, as it's going to be Axum potentially picking up the win.
Axum, no one around him, clean green across the line, win here at New Smyrna, winning the 2nd race of the night for the Super Late Models, and our 3rd winner in the Super Late Models this season. He might have been causing and ruffling a lot of feathers in that first race here tonight in these cars, but he finally gets it done after a lot of mistakes and temper still flying in the middle of the field. But for Dustin Mombercat, he just got tight. 2 times in this race where he got into that outside wall, and that 2nd time just really nailed himself in the coffin.
He did, as we'll see. Check in with, that is your 2nd place finisher. So while Mombercat did not pick up the win, he will, however, pick up the $25 as Axum. While he has the logo on there, he has already won it, so he will not be getting it. So it will be Dustin Mombercat that takes the extra little prize money home. And just to quickly skim over your results here, is we're going on getting ready for the next race as well. Your top 3, of course, we'll be talking to them: Axum, Quentin, and Mombercat, as you have RS Center, Butler, Langford, Perkins, Wilson, Ryan Plins, and David Plins getting a top 10, 9th, and 10th place here as well, Sam.
Yeah, and then going back into 11th, you've got that of Colton Everingham, as well as Eric Steele, Stephen Norris, as well as that of Cody Knott. What a night he's had, able to finish in the top 15 with Tony Cuerdos, who's going to be finishing in 15th, Ronald Cole, and then finishing off with all the drivers that either got DQ'd, wrecked out of this race. Parker Retzlaff, Corey Williams, as well as Kevin White, and Mario going to be finishing out in the top 20.
And rounding out the field, going to be Inaki, Sellers, Murray, and Burge, your 24-car field. We'll step away. When we come back, we'll talk to the top 3 quickly, and then we will get ready for the Northwest Cup Series race at Nashville, coming up here in just a bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here for race number 4 / race series number 1 of the night, as we still have the Northwest Cup Series coming up after this. We have, of course, third and first with us here. We do not have access to talk to Cole Quinton in second place, so congrats, Cole, on second place. But we do have third place, Dustin Marquette. Dustin, you finish in third place here, and the words we heard from you is, I didn't have enough laps on this track. You know, had you had maybe a few more laps, you think things would have turned out differently?
I think if I didn't make that stupid mistake and drive into the wall down the straightaway, I could have had second. I definitely had nothing for Tom. He was really good all night. We tested a little bit earlier, and he tried to help me out as much as he could, and I really can't thank him enough for that. So I don't know. Tom was really good, but I don't think I had nothing for him.
Yeah, I mean, Dustin, you were doing a great job. It kind of helped with the inverted setup for you to be up front leading this thing. And I think the biggest thing for me was, what was the major difference when you had to change your mindset from the side-by-side restarts to single-file restarts?
The side-by-side ones, you just really got to be careful when you turn back down the track that you don't spin the tires like I did a couple times. The single-file ones are just kind of, it spreads the whole field out more, and you can kind of relax just a little bit more, so that's kind of nice, but the double file definitely keeps it more intense.
Double file, single file, it really didn't matter. You managed to get a good, solid finish here tonight. And, of course, with a good finish means you get the chance to thank those sponsors. And shout out to who those be on the car there. You got to thank for the third place finish here tonight.
I just can't thank everyone enough. RS Center, Alex McCullum, Tom, he's helped me so much my whole sim racing career. So is Alex, and I just can't thank them enough. LeDuc Matthews Racing, Ryan Matthews, Devin Morgan, Russell Brown, all them over there. Dante Curtis Design, Shaw Motorsports, Paul's Auto Body, Devin Morgan Enterprises, Russell Brown Race Cars. I just can't thank them enough.
All right, well, again, congrats on third place, and your winner here tonight, that is, of course, none other than Thomas Axum, or Tom Axum. You get the win here tonight. You get the chicken dinner. So we see you right there on the screen sitting in Victory Lane. And yeah, I'm wondering, did they paint Victory Lane just to match your car? Because it's pink just like your car.
Oh, man, I said to all the guys tonight, I really want this one tonight. I really want my Victory Lane picture to look good. Pink car, pick Victory Lane. I really wanted to make it happen, and I was very happy I was able to.
Well, you did it here. You had the know-how to get to the front, and a little caution fest there in the race number 2. But we know that, when you get out front, it's hard to pass. So when you're up there up front, do you just have to hit your marks and, just not let anybody by you and just, be perfect up there?
Yeah, it's literally all about the marks, no matter who you have around you. Just the small mistakes, even if it's just the smallest ones, it could be 1 spot, it could be 4 spots if you get hung out there. Definitely was a single file racetrack tonight. 2 Groove was not a fan tonight. But once we got the green flag laps in, definitely felt very comfortable. I was able to really let the car eat on exit, opposed to having the car up top. But definitely a fun race, and I'm glad we got the green flag laps in at the end there in the second race.
Yeah, I mean, Tom, we had the first half of the race where there was a lot of cautions coming out over and over again, so the tires really didn't seem like they're getting beat up so much from our point of view, but how was it on the course for you?
Yeah, I definitely beat my tires up because I just really wanted to push it and make sure I could really lock up the second win after leading 59 laps or so, and making a silly mistake on the restart of 1 and 2, and sliding up and accidentally getting into Jake Perkins. Sorry to him for that. Shout out to him as well for I won the second race. So, just a quick shout out, Peter Bernier, Bernier's Liquors, RS Center, painting me up these cars every week. They look nothing less than perfect. You guys for taking the time out of the day to help us out. The Karma Salon and Day Spa for that extra $25. Thank you for that extra lunch for the side. And my mom for watching, and my grandparents for watching, and all the support, and just Dustin for being a good, clean AIRL teammate.
Well, there you have it, and there's his sponsors. as that'll do it here for us tonight. Sam, your final thoughts before we wrap this one up and go demand our hazard pay to Jeff, who's not here yet. He should be here, but he's not. But we'll demand our hazard pay, and we'll get on to race number 2 of the night.
Yeah, I mean, tonight, trucks loved it. There weren't as many cautions that we've been seeing in those first 2 races of the season. Back when we were at, South Boston and Langley, they really cleaned it up here tonight. But for the super late models, man, they're all going to have to go to Karma. They need to go get a spa, get themselves relaxed, as it was chaotic. The drivers probably are still upset, yelling at one another, but you get both races. We had a different winner also here tonight, with Tom winning the second race. First winner kind of lucked into it was Parker Retzlaff, but overall, what a crazy night it was.
Crazy indeed. As we will sign off here for the American iRacing League. Crazy fun-filled night of racing. We have about 1 hour till we fire up for the Northwest Cup Series at Nashville for the first time here this season, this year, this history. We've never had the track. We're going to it tonight for the first time with the Northwest Cup Series. We'll see you there in just under 1 hour for the Northwest Cup Series racing in Nashville.